Am I live
We
or
are
not?
live. We are live.
पक्का.
Apparently, we are.
हाँ, okay. Hello. Hello, hello. Sorry. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Queen is Dead. This is the first live that I am moderating without Dhruv. So I am a little awkward at beginning वगैरह. But Dhruv and I should just do a text podcast in the comments. हाँ ठीक है कर लो. वरुण बोल रहे हैं.
Hmm. Dhruv and
चलेगा
I should
चलेगा
do just
चलेगा.
yeah. Go on, go on. That will be the companion podcast.
हाँ पैरेलल चलते हैं ना साथ में वो रहेंगे.
Companion podcast. Transcript.
लोग कितने लोग देख रहे हैं अभी?
Two people. Two people is
वो
more than enough at this point.
वो वरुण और ध्रुव ही हैं.
हाँ. More than what we expect. It's fine. चलेगा.
So, as the topic suggests or the title, we are discussing the best or favorite Indian web series that have come out this year, which
Hmm.
have been in abundance. I'm assuming in comparison to whatever the last 3 years or 4 years that has been.
I
I
don't
feel.
think abundance per se, but ज़्यादा तो है ही. Abundance तो last
I mean,
तीन
I
तीन
mean,
साल
we
से
we
ही चल
did
रहा है.
we did want to talk about like the overflow of things also, right? Like how
Hmm.
it's just every week it's a new something new is coming, right? And half of
Like
them
आज
don't
क्या
even
दिन
live
है?
up to
Tuesday.
a certain quality.
Like आज
हाँ.
क्या दिन है? Tuesday है ना?
Mm-hmm.
Like now Wednesday is the new Friday at this point. Streaming service में कुछ ना कुछ drop होता है Wednesday को. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5 दिन लोगों को टीवी के सामने बिठा के ये लोग को लेना है अटेंशन, क्योंकि लोगों के पास कोई काम धंधा नहीं है. और जिन लोगों का काम धंधा ये है वो लोग कह रहे हैं बस कर भाई, ठीक है.
हाँ, तो you are definitely suffering. No, I thought that's the thing. Like the
हम्म,
like now that we've started talking, only the main thing is that it's so difficult to catch up with half of them. And
हम्म,
even though most of them look promising, they aren't really, you know, decent enough to even get through. Like I did start watching a lot of shows this year, and I couldn't continue beyond like 2 or 3 episodes
no
because I was like,
same.
do I want to waste my time watching something which isn't worth it? So that's like
हम्म,
the main big thing. But we'll discuss nice last minute binge मारा है आप लोगों ने. हाँ, true.
हम्म,
Dhruv. Uh,
हाँ.
we didn't have an option.
नहीं
So we
मतलब
did.
मतलब the binge I did binge I did last minute, that was not even a binge, that was a halfway binge. I gave up on that show back in March when it released. I
Which
finished it
show?
now. School of Lies, I finished it now.
हाँ कर अरे it's a very good show. I mean which is
Yeah.
again in my list. So I thought we'll discuss. So we'll go one by one each. Like you can tell one of your five favorite shows, and then we'll alternate amongst each other. So you go ahead with your one. Are you ranking them?
I can. I don't want to. कुछ भी हो. I haven't thought that much about it. Hold on for a second. हाँ. नहीं
Hmm.
वैसा कुछ नहीं. संजीत is hiding Aditi Rao Hydri as much as the show does. Yes, yes. एकदम एकदम
हाँ.
एकदम.
Dhruv is fanning fire Amartya ka
हम्म. हाँ हाँ.
towards Jubilee. But
हम्म.
you go ahead with your
5, 6,
uh,
7, 8. I
first.
think shows I would like to talk about, there are at least 8 of them. ठीक है.
Okay,
So
okay.
मतलब I would
So,
like to talk about them. But जो भी हो.
hmm.
uh,
Go for it. Go for it.
लेट्स नहीं लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द बिग वन जिसका
Hmm.
पिक्चर तुम्हारे पीछे है. जुबिली.
You want to talk about this?
Yes, I want to talk about this because for
Okay,
one
go
very
ahead.
simple reason. Number one, QID का एपिसोड है. Please go and listen to it. We talked a lot. I was the villain in that episode. Please go and listen to it. I want I wanted to bring Jubilee up because I'm going to slightly change my opinion because I'm going to prove that I'm human. I have a heart. I can be, I can, my heart can be melted just slightly.
Hmm.
But the more I thought about this show, the more I think that the show is doing a lot of things many other shows this year, even around the world, hasn't been doing.
Okay,
You know,
which is
which is like, no, it is trying to tell a story, but more importantly, it is creating a world out of existing fragments of history, and it is creating an original world on its own, and it is
hmm.
trying its damnedest to immerse you in it.
Hmm.
you know and for the most part it is succeeding because Motwane's filmmaking is above reproach. I
Hmm.
listened back to the podcast and I realized that my disappointment with the show stemmed very much from the fact that however flaws I got, I wasn't expecting it from a show from Motwane's point of view. That was the disappointment I had.
So I mean, you were disappointed because of your expectations, basically.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
I thought it should have been a lot better. In hindsight, because I have
Hmm.
seen so much stuff and I have seen so much weak Hindi, weak Indian stuff, I can definitely say that this show doesn't
Hmm.
deserve all the hate, at least
Hmm.
from my end. And
I mean,
mind you,
I
I did
don't think so. You hated it, but you had
no
certain dislikes
reservations. I
in
had reservations.
reservations for
Yes.
elements and things. Huh?
And I would like to say on the record at this point ki this is me just changing just slightly to say ki this show is actually very good. I
Hmm.
would acknowledge it to people who are actually film buffs and cinephiles that
Hmm.
please watch this show. I
Hmm.
don't think the show is being seen enough. Please watch
Hmm.
this show. It's actually well made. There are moments here in this show which is just मतलब कुछ भी हो रहा है reservations तो है ही show yeah I forgot your dad puns man but जो भी हो like this is not a show which I was expecting to come around in the first place like this is a
Huh.
sort of show which I want like
Hmm.
history of films and everything because Arey, I am reading that Uday Bhatia ka book right about
Huh. Huh.
Satya.
Huh.
So that book is like a spider's web of a thing. मतलब Satya hai, but over Satya, it's like it's taking Satya as the single point and it's exploring everything around it. History
Basically,
of
the
film.
culture and
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
movement it kind of
yeah, yeah,
propagated. No?
yeah. Jubilee is
Hmm.
kind of that, right? Jubilee is
Hmm.
basically exploring the film culture of that era.
Yeah. 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 Hmm.
So you want something like that, and the
Hmm.
fact that something like this exists and created with so much love, I
Hmm.
genuinely think that I can afford to be just slightly mellowed down in that regard for this show.
Hmm.
Thoda bahut.
No, I think in terms of making, I think this is
Yes.
A plus category of filmmaking that
Yes.
is employed in my opinion, because I
Mhm.
think the amount of effort that has been put. I mean, again, now that we're talking about Jubilee, which is also in my favorite list from this year,
Mhm.
and I feel this is among the top five Indian shows that have been made till now. That is my opinion,
Mhm.
because I
Mhm.
feel um, from whatever I remember, I there are certain it you know it isn't doing things for cheaper effects
Mhm.
or takes any hacks or any side routes to achieve something. Like it is
Mhm.
naturally building up to that point to
Mhm.
make it like a very earned moment, which I feel
Mhm.
doesn't happen most of the time. I mean,
Yes.
so there is one thing about when you watch something and you feel okay, this has that universality. Like this could appeal
Mhm.
to someone sitting in Europe also, this could appeal to someone sitting in South America also.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
even though it's something very specific, it is very universal. And then when
Mhm.
you watch something, you kind of are not polar to it. Like
Mhm.
there is something about the making which you like, the way it is shot, the way the sound is done, the way
Yes,
the characters
exactly.
are being approached, and introduction and how a character
It
or what a character
it
does really. Hmm.
it is honestly too well made for me to not be
Yeah, yeah.
completely impressed by it at least to a certain extent. Does it have coincidences? Absolutely, it has coincidences.
Huh,
Plot
but that's
contrivances,
what I'm saying.
coincidences.
I
Yes.
feel it is still working to earn that. वो थोड़ा
Yes.
coincidence तो cinema language में it
Hmm.
kind of works.
And स्प्रॉलिंग कचरा इतना आया यस यस ऑफ कोर्स कि जुबली का स्प्रॉल एक्चुअली फील्स फॉर द मोस्ट पार्ट ग्रेट लाइक स्प्रॉलिंग आई वुडंट से ठीक है क्योंकि स्प्रॉलिंग शो मैंने एक
Hmm.
देखा आज ही सो इट्स नॉट दैट कि स्प्रॉलिंग कचरा है आई विल
Hmm.
से जेन्युइन कचरा ही बहुत शो है ठीक
Hmm.
है मतलब शो बनाया हुआ है क्योंकि फिल्म मेकर को 2 घंटे का बनाना नहीं है फिल्म मेकर को 4 घंटे या 6 घंटे का मूवी बनाना है इसलिए
Hmm.
शो बना दिया वैसा
हाँ, I
बहुत
mean,
कचरा है
true. I mean, the thing is, it's more than kachra. It is disappointments. I feel a lot of directors
Yes,
didn't
yes.
live up to that expectation. I mean,
Yes, yes.
case in point, you
Absolutely.
guys watched Sam Bahadur, which I haven't seen till now.
Mm.
But
Don't.
from whatever I know of the noise around the film, I know some things have not worked, and
Mm.
it kind of what I thought of it was from whatever also I know about the story, original story,
Mm-hmm.
or the real life account of the person. I feel it's a great subject for a longer format.
Mm.
like you don't need to, from again, this is from whatever my perception of the film is. I don't know
Hmm.
everything about the film.
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
um, तो आई फील जो कंडेंस हो जाती चीजें वो
Hmm.
अगेन
Hmm.
स्टोरी
Hmm.
टेलिंग में हमेशा प्रॉब्लम आती आती, लाइक आई रिमेंबर फीलिंग द सेम थिंग अबाउट बॉम्बे वेलवेट ऑल्सो, कि भाई अगर वो अच्छे से
Yes, yes.
she would have
Again,
explored
like
like
I
a
told
good
in the
5 6
podcast,
hour
right?
mini series. Yeah, we've
Yeah, yeah,
discussed
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah. We
feel
have discussed this. Mm,
even though I love Detective Bomkesh Bakshi, like absolutely love it,
absolutely
I
love that
don't
movie.
mind watching a 5-parter show out of that,
Of
or
course,
6 part, whatever,
of course.
something like that.
You know what? You know what? Give me more of that instead of the dog shit Bomkesh we get at the Bengali industry. Please, for the
I
love
mean, you
of
to get
God, please,
whatever every
somebody,
3 months, that's your quota now.
yes, please, somebody, save us from this, please.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, so that's what I feel like, making something which is working in many ways is also very difficult. Like, it took him how
Hmm.
many years to actually make it, passing through like
Yeah,
COVID
yeah.
and over time. So I feel the show for me has earned that kind of respect,
Hmm.
not just for how I watched it and how I kind of felt after watching it, but also looking at it objectively. I really enjoyed how it was made,
Hmm.
and some certain Easter eggs to anyway for me are generally very fun to
Hmm.
watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Of
that
course.
way for me it is
Hmm.
a 5 on 5. So
Hmm.
yeah, but you go ahead. I think this is my one of my favorite picks. But what is your next favorite pick?
Hmm.
I have your list, but I've completely forgotten your list now, except one
Hmm.
show which I think we'll
कोई बात
discuss.
नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. Uh, my next favorite is Dahar.
Hmm.
The good
Oh,
Zoya Akhtar Rima Kakti show. The good one.
from this year.
Yes, the good
Huh.
one from this year. Uh, Again, an investigative show in the heartland of India,
Hmm.
done to death, a format which has been done so many times at this point. It's like it's
Hmm.
almost hilarious.
Yeah.
Vijay Verma is the villain of a show. Again,
Hmm.
done to death at this point. Hilarious.
Hmm.
Still works. Still works. Completely works because the creators got the vibe right. The creators got the dialect right. The creators
Hmm.
got the entire surroundings right to such an extent that Sonakshi Sinha also
Hmm.
becomes elevated to a certain extent just because of
Yeah.
the surroundings around her.
Hmm.
And of course, Vijay
Hmm.
Varma, we can make fun of the fact that he's getting typecast, but he's so bloody good in this role, man.
Yeah.
He's so good in this. He's just creepy. He's just terrifying to a certain extent. He's
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
good in this show. And when you have a villain as compelling as this, the show is compelling enough to watch even at a
Hmm.
certain
Hmm.
point. And I think Zoya Akhtar and Rima Kakti know how to use Sonakshi Sinha's capabilities well enough
Hmm.
because she's
Yeah.
quite good
Correct.
here.
I mean, so
She's
when
quite
you
good.
give a half decent actor also, if you give to someone who's a good director,
Hmm.
that director will kind of pull off a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
great
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's a very good.
Dibakar Banerjee using Arjun Kapoor. Case in point.
Yeah.
In Sandeep or Pinky Farrar. So,
Uh,
but uh, the one complaint I have with this show is the ending. The last episode was
hmm.
extremely rushed. You can't do that, and I think one of the bigger points of that was because
Hmm.
the last episode was going to build up on the fact that, oh my god, look at him, he's going back to normalcy, but he's repeating it again.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
Vijay Verma's character.
I mean,
I
because
think,
we are kind of following the characters. The plot के
yeah,
लिए
yeah,
show नहीं था वो, basically. That was
plot
mostly
के
for
लिए,
the characters,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah. So I think you could have shifted that character ka matlab the journey or the camera towards the investigators as well, because they
Hmm.
took so much time to Verma's character. It almost felt like time ran out by the time
Hmm.
the investigation
Hmm.
came to an end.
Hmm.
That is why
That
the
is something
last
even
episode
I
felt
felt. वो
rushed.
काफी rushed ending था. Like I
काफी
thought,
rushed ending का.
like for me, the mainstay were the four quartet of lead characters.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Um, um, Gulshan Devaya, Sonakshi Sinha, Vijay Verma, and what's his name?
अरे यार.
His name completely
Soham
slipped.
Shah.
Soham Shah.
Soham
Soham
Shah.
Shah. हाँ.
Soham
I think
Shah,
the
that one episode where his character is having a breakdown. Remember it?
हाँ, where
They're
he
just
goes
standing
in
at
a certain
yeah, yeah.
एकदम barren land और वहाँ पे जाके he cries
Gorgeous,
basically.
gorgeous. Those are the moments for which you create TV shows, because you have
Hmm.
time to give space to these characters for
Yeah. Yeah.
moments to create like this. You know,
Hmm.
So
So
again,
that's the thing. Like you get to know more about the character when you spend time with characters.
exactly.
Like I think and we've discussed this many a times. Like shows are meant for writers and actors because you kind of need that kind of continuity of emotion when you go from episode to episode. And you know how the format of shows is like, right? It's
Hmm.
like a different director is usually directing some different episode and things like that. So the two
Hmm.
mainstays of the format that is show, uh,
Hmm.
you really need like a good actor and something very well written
Yeah.
so that the emotion kind of flows from one episode to another. It's not
Hmm.
in my favorite list because I was sadly very disappointed by the ending of the show because I thought
Yeah.
कि
Yeah.
बहुत जल्दी रैप कर दिया, मतलब it was like कि खत्म करो खत्म करो खत्म करो, बाकी कोई ऐसे
Mm.
जल्दी 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 खत्म
Yeah,
करो
yeah, yeah,
because
of course, of course.
and when it was ending also, when she goes and catches him at that hotel, right, with that
Hmm.
other lady, आई वाज
Hmm.
लाइक शो में टाइम तो बचा ही नहीं, आई थिंक उस पार्ट के बाद से
Hmm.
खाली 10 मिनट बचे थे एंड
Hmm.
आई वाज लाइक अभी 10 मिनट में दे आर दे रैपिंग द होल शो बिकॉज उसके आगे एपिसोड नहीं थे.
Hmm.
आई वाज लाइक कि मतलब हाउ आर दे गोइंग टू गो अबाउट इट. एंड वो जो फेस ऑफ था बेसिकली बिटवीन विजय वर्मा एंड
Those two, yeah, yeah.
सोनाक्षी, आई फेल्ट कि मतलब आधे में ही छूट गया. एंड आई फील
Hmm.
वो राइटिंग की गलती नहीं थी, आई फील वो आई मीन राइटिंग इन द सेंस आई फील वो स्ट्रक्चरिंग की थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम थी rather than the writing, inherent writing,
I
because I
think,
think the ideas are
yeah, yeah, I
pretty
think
good.
I think that last episode, I think that last episode needed to be two episodes, for the
हाँ,
entire thing to space out just slightly. Or
हाँ,
even if you are not going to do that, just increase the runtime, or
yeah, yeah.
shuttle the perspective from the perspective of the police officers and
Mm-hmm.
Vijay Verma's character. You shuttle that constantly, you wouldn't have felt that. I think none of
Hmm.
that happened. That is the reason it became so shortened.
And I feel Devaiya's performance was just
Devaya is
fantastic.
low key here, right? He's
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
low key in this. Yeah,
It's very
yeah, yeah,
difficult to show that kind of
yeah, yeah.
performances also. Like we
Mhm.
discussed last time, we were discussing Archie's, and we were like, I think someone mentioned ke the
Yeah,
Suhana.
I only mentioned this.
हाँ,
Suhana Khan's
and I
emotional
felt
performance.
कि
And you were like, yeah,
वो
yeah.
emotion करना in general is easy, but when you see someone like Devaiya, I mean, no comparison, of course, but I'm just
No, no.
stating as an example, कि it is very difficult to perform that kind of just natural, sort of
Hmm.
somber emotion and just keep it going through. And we've seen these beats many a times. Like
Yes,
Saif
yes,
Ali
of course.
Khan in Secret Games also had very similar beats, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
it is like how the character is being displayed on screen na, by that actor.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the main thing.
Hmm.
Dhruv
Will
has
Vijay
commented
Verma
saying,
star in a short film? Yes, it's in Lust
yes.
Stories too. We should be
Wo-
called Ghost Stories. But jo bhi ho. Hmm.
which
Hmm.
was whatever a sad
Which was,
collaboration only.
I can give a argument as to which is the worst Sujay Ghosh feature I have seen this year. That short film or Janeja? I
No,
really
no,
need
we
to
know
make a
Jane
coin
Jai is
toss.
worse for you. There's a whole episode about it.
No, no, I can literally make a coin toss about it because that Lost Stories ka shot was god awful. I have no
Yeah.
idea what he was thinking of doing that. I mean, I know what he was doing. It was a honeymoon shoot for both Vijay Verma and Tamanna Bhatia. But jo bhi ho. Yeah, yeah,
This was
I know, I know, I
exclusively
know. I know, I know, I know. I know.
दुखती रग पे उंगली सीधा रखना कोई ध्रुव से
हाँ, हाँ,
सीखे
वही।
बेसिकली.
हाँ, हाँ, वही, वही।
um
आप बताओ सर, आप बताओ। आप तो
हाँ,
मुझे
so
ही क्वेश्चन
next
कर रहे
in
हो।
my
आप बताओ।
list of something that I really enjoyed is
हुँ।
Trial by Fire, another show that we
Yes, I
discussed
have
on
this on my
podcast,
list. हुँ,
which
हुँ,
has a very great episode, which
हुँ।
had Dhruv, Indrila, and Aryan and me.
The famous Gadar border thingy. That also
Correct.
was in that
That that
episode. Yes.
that is featured in that episode. I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
again, Trial by Fire. The I think I've spoken everything that I wanted to speak about the show in detail on that episode. But again, to reiterate some of the points is the show how it really captures the melancholy. I
हुँ,
think
हुँ।
there is also so many Delhi shows or Delhi films that have been done to death at this point. Like you kind of know the texture of the air also right there. Like you see it
Yes.
in the shows, documentaries, films, and everything. But there is something very
All that
different
breathes.
about like the late
All that breathes.
90s. Yeah, of course, but like the way it kind of takes the characters and puts them in a certain tragedy, and more
Yes.
than the tragedy it also kind of serves the characters and the characters are serving the tragedy back.
Hmm.
So that interlinked. I know you watched that show a little later than us, and you also
I guess
really
yes.
liked that show.
Yes, I like that show a lot. I think I like the show because I think it's a performance. I think
Huh,
Rajshri Deshpande
100%.
deserves
What a
all the accolades,
great
all of the
performance.
accolades she deserves. She's phenomenal in this. Abhay Deol, he was very good. I don't think this is the best we have seen of Abhay Deol, but he was very good in this.
I
To
think he
be
was
very
operating
honest,
in that character
he was
dynamics only,
operating.
and
Yes, yes.
whatever the screenplay really offered him, because I think he
Hmm.
was more the supporting character to Rajshri Deshpande.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though both of them are really central, I think she's the one
Hmm.
who's more emotionally devastated, and he's the one who's a little silent and kind of
Hmm.
treating himself. But yeah, um, I think the
I think in
making
an
was fantastic,
exploration,
and
yeah, yeah. I think an
hmm,
exploration of grief ki wajah se,
yeah,
the entire
yeah,
grief aspect of it, I think that is being portrayed extremely well in this show.
hmm,
Because, you know, grief in its multitudes.
hmm.
Hmm. Grief in its multitudes जो भी हाँ हाँ वो तुम्हारे लिए ही
That
था.
is for all that breathes, is what
Yes,
he's
yes,
trying to
yes.
say.
हाँ हाँ तो वो तुम्हारे लिए ही था. Don't worry. Uh, grief in all its multitudes. He got
Hmm,
they got that very well. And I realized how important that incident was overall. Again, I was reading that Uday
hmm.
Bhatia's book, and I remember Satya's that scene, that cinema hall in
Where
which
he fires the gun in the
yeah,
cinema.
yeah, when Khandilkar closes the door and everything, I was immediately
Hmm,
reminded of that Upwar scene in Child by Fire. I'm like,
correct.
wait, wait, was this inspired by that actual scene? Then I read the book
Uh-huh.
and I was like, yeah, of course this was inspired by
And
that
this was
actually.
inspired, absolutely. Yeah.
This was inspired actually. And I realized that, an important event like this deserves the serious treatment it got, to be
Hmm.
very honest. And I think as
Also,
a slow burn treat,
one
yeah, you
really
tell.
great thing was how it kept changing perspectives episode to episode.
Yes.
Like, I get. I mean, we didn't see the main people ka perspective, basically the owners, because they
Hmm.
are kind of villainized. But we saw people who were working there, who were kind of
Hmm.
blamed for locking the doors and everything. And that episode is that single take shot
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that
episode.
was the last episode or the second last episode. I
I think
think that
second
was
last
it.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Also, Ashish Vidyarthi's character. Oh my god,
yeah.
what a fantastic character he is!
Great
Like,
performance also.
great performance and great writing
Hmm.
of that character. You do not expect that character to be given so much focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
One of the better uses of television
yeah,
series
yeah.
performance. I mean, it's correct. Like it's kind of taking one event and then portraying everything around it, but also it is very central to this
Mm-hmm.
one couple जिनको tragedy जिनसे हम start करते हैं. And even the
Mm-hmm.
making, it plays very simple with its foreshadowing. It's not trying to do anything complex, complicated. First shot I remember, it's like completely imprinted in my mind, is the gas burning shot, and like
Yes.
Rajshri Deshpande's character comes and puts something on the stove.
Hmm.
um, so
Hmm.
I was like, "Ha, theek hai." They are going with a certain idea, and
Hmm.
they kept it very simple and just
And I
kept
like
playing with the language of the film or the
and I
show.
like
The
that the
show.
last episode actually harkens back to the day when the event actually happened.
Ha, it's the
Again,
it's what happened on the
what
day of
happened
the.
again, it
Yeah,
works because every
yeah,
episode is an hour long, right?
yeah,
After
yeah,
a point, after having lived through so many characters, it can be very easy for a viewer to get lost into the
yeah.
minutia and then have to be reminded that, look, this is
You won't
what
understand the
actually
gravitas also
started.
ki what really happened, na?
Yes, yes, yes. This is what the entire show is working toward. This
Yeah,
is the inciting incident. This is what happened. This is how it
yeah.
works. And it's also very
Hmm,
prescient because bureaucracy and the tendrils of capitalism and all that rot, it's still there,
hmm.
right? It hasn't gone away. you know Maybe that is also
I mean, it's
why
an
this
ongoing
show.
case, right? It's an
Yeah, yeah,
ongoing
yeah,
case.
yeah, 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 absolutely. So
Hmm,
again, great job, one of those few bright shining spots of
hmm.
Indian
I
television.
think the one of the there are two directors I think co-directed the whole show, Randeep Jha and Prashant Nair, and Randeep Jha also made Kora this year,
Yeah, yeah,
which
we
was
will get to that
which
again.
is another show that I really like. Okay,
Fantastic show. I
but
think the
there
show was kind
was
of absent in the end of year discussions everywhere. Which is, I don't think it is. I don't think it is being absent in the end of year discussion. I think it is getting a lot of love. To be
hmm,
very honest, it shouldn't be absent because there aren't very good shows that have come out this year. Indian
I
shows, I
mean,
mean.
on the Netflix roundtable we did see Rajshri Deshpande, so I'm assuming
Hmm.
um
Her
they.
performance is getting a lot of raves, but the show itself, yeah,
I think
yeah.
that one performance will kind of propel the show into.
Mm,
little
mm.
more limelight, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
So I hope people kind of notice it and
Mm.
watch this show because it's a very, very,
It's a
very
very
good
good
show.
show, but it's also a
Yeah.
slow burn. So,
Set your
matlab, take a
expectations
chunk of
accordingly.
your day. Yeah, yeah. Take a chunk
Yeah.
of your time, set an expectation,
I
and then
feel,
watch.
I really feel this is the kind of show, if you don't binge also, it's great. Like this
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Jubilee that we discussed, both the
Mm,
shows for me are the kind of shows I can watch 2 episodes a day and I would be fine. And even the
mm,
hard, I can watch
mm.
an episode a day and it kind of works as a chapter in a book for me.
I think Jubilee
So
as a show, Jubilee as a show, I think you can watch a day because I think that is a show which will, the show is being neglected when Showman Mishra. Oh
so
yeah,
many.
of all the people, he's pointing it out.
So people who don't know the context, Somen Mishra is one of the producers at Dharma and works closely
Mm,
with Karan Johar. But I don't know the context of where did he really point it out though.
mm.
Do you know?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's Showman Mishra. Nobody should take him seriously. जो भी हो. Uh, doesn't
तेरा
matter.
तो कुछ झड़प भी था ना on Twitter, some spat you had.
No, no, I don't. I personally don't have any jharap. I just don't like the guy. I think the guy is an overextended buffoon. But जो भी हो, I just don't like the guy. It doesn't matter. But
So
जो
Varun
भी हो,
says
I
Twitter
think
person. Hmm.
ट्विटर पर
Okay.
सर हाँ हाँ सेम ही है ट्विटर
हाँ.
वैसे भी सेसफुल है
But
फायदा नहीं है कुछ
you can
Uh,
go with the your next pick. Was Trial by
mm,
Fire in your favorite list?
yeah, trial by fire is my favorite. I think my favorite is I think around eight entries but जो भी हो
We'll get to them quickly now.
या नो नो कोई बात नहीं चलो ना कोई इशू नहीं है
Hmm.
then I have one Bengali show. I have two Bengali shows in this. Interesting.
One to
Uh,
which you sent me the review this morning, and I was like, "Oh, what is the show?" I had not even heard of that one.
hmm.
Actually,
Not
I
that
hadn't
one. This
heard of
is
either of those. So
hmm.
you can go ahead with.
This is the other one, and this is slight bias, but I have to bring it up because this
Hmm,
was shot in North Bengal, and
hmm.
I really need to bring it up. It's called Shikarpur. This is about
Before we move on. Hmm. Okay, okay. We move on to your show. Yeah,
ध्रुव का संगति का इफेक्ट हो रहा है आप पे भी सर
yeah. I can smell Dhruvism from Varun's
yes
voice.
yes. No,
Dhruvism.
so Shikarpur. Shikarpur
Hmm,
is about, one quote unquote loafer in a small North Bengal town called Shikarpur.
hmm,
The town is called Shikarpur.
hmm,
He fancies himself as a detective. He has a
hmm,
mentor who is a detective. He has a mentor who used to be a private detective. Okay, so he
hmm, hmm.
fancies himself a detective and he wants to become a professional detective in this small town, but
Okay.
nobody takes him seriously. So he does
Hmm,
odd jobs like, search for the one villager's goat which has gotten lost or something like that.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
But then a big case comes to him, okay, a disappearance, a murder, a big case comes to him which slowly
hmm,
balloons into a huge conspiracy dealing with his own past of the
hmm.
town and everything. First of all, this show,
How many
it
episodes?
I think it's around 10, but I think all of the episodes are around half an hour or
Okay. Hmm,
28 minutes or something like that.
hmm, hmm, hmm.
It's in Z5. uh I
Okay.
loved what I loved is this show encapsulates the entire vibe of North Bengal. Like
Hmm,
North
hmm, hmm,
Bengal just isn't Darjeeling. Okay,
hmm,
for people who don't know, North Bengal just isn't Darjeeling. North Bengal just isn't a hill station or a tea
hmm.
estate. North Bengal is a
Hmm,
lot of things.
hmm.
It's very different from Kolkata. It's very different from the places in South or anywhere.
I have a
So
question
it,
though. Is
yeah, yeah.
Kalimpong in North Bengal?
Yeah. It falls in that category only. But that's the whole
You know why I asked
trajectory
you for
here.
that about
Yeah,
that,
I
right?
got it. I'm ignoring it. I got it. But
Okay,
you
go
get
ahead.
the idea though that it's like he. I think Nijhar Moitro. I think that's the filmmaker. He's from Jalpaiguri, and
Hmm,
first of all, I think the making is spectacular for this show for this
hmm.
limited amount of budget because Bengali TV shows and movies, the first thing you need to know is we don't have we don't have budgets, if at
Huh,
all.
huh. But
So
I
the
think
fact
that's
that
for a lot of regional shows also, no? In general.
yes, but then again, it's like yeah, but then for a Tamil or Telugu show, or something like that, you won't see many Tamil or Telugu TV shows. They haven't cracked the format yet. That's why
Hmm.
not a lot of good enough shows. For some reason.
I mean,
You will
Tamil did get a couple of them. I think
one Sural,
Sural,
the vortex.
which, yeah,
Yeah, that
and
was
I think
one.
another show which had come out with SJ Surya called Vadhanadi, which I haven't seen.
Varanadi, yeah,
Huh.
Varanadi. That is
And
one. So
there is one more show which came out on Hotstar called Mathagam, which had some decent
It's
reviews.
just this year, right? I
This I'm
think.
talking about this year, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would also like to point. I have seen only one episode of that, but I've seen the reviews.
Yeah, yeah.
Modern Love Chennai has
Yeah, modern.
the
Again,
last
Modern Love
episode is
Chennai is an
Tyagarajan
anthology.
Kumararaja. For
Yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
who don't know him, he's directed this very good film called
Aranyam
Super
Kadam.
Deluxe
Ar-
and Aranya
hmm.
Kandam. So his episode is something that I would like to recommend. Jan. But yeah, before we move on, yeah, you complete about the
No, no.
show.
What I want to say is that this is a show people should watch if they like investigative shows with comedy for them.
Mm,
Comedy is there and all that, but this is a show
yeah.
which is very rooted in the culture it is exploring. You know,
Mm,
that is the
mm,
one thing. The other thing is this show ka ending jo hai, the twist of it all.
mm.
There is a twist in the ending. That twist is pretty great, and one of the reasons why the twist
Okay.
is great is because of the performance.
So is
Koshi
it a
Ganguly,
whodunit? Proper
yeah, yeah,
whodunit?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
proper whodunit.
You're not giving out
Kaushik Gang,
spoilers now, right?
I'm not giving out anything.
Mm.
Kaushik Ganguly, a very well-known film director of Bengali
Hey,
cinema.
I know
Yeah,
of him. He made that
yeah,
movie with.
Nogor Kirtan. Nogor Kirtan. He
Huh.
made Nogor Kirtan.
Didn't he
Yeah,
also make that movie called Samrat and Co. with
I think.
Rajiv Khandelwal?
Did he
It's
make
a.
Samrat and Co? I don't
It
remember.
was like a very bad rehash of
Yeah,
Sherlock.
yeah. I don't
Okay, I
think he
could be
made
wrong
that.
about it.
I don't think he made Nogor Kirtan though. He made
I
Nogor
know
Kirtan. He made a
I know of that film. Yes,
Mm. He made a lot of great Bengali movies. I can't say the same for some of his recent outputs, which have been meh
but
to
I think
good.
he made a couple of Hindi films that I know of.
Ye-
I can't remember the names, but he made one cop drama also, which didn't work out. I think, but again, half baked knowledge. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
continue.
and also he's Jalpaiguri dropping petrol and Darjeeling. I love Darjeeling, by the way. I'm not saying that Darjeeling is bad. I love that place, by the way. I'm just saying that
Hmm,
North Bengal isn't Darjeeling. That's all I'm saying. So, but the thing about it is, like Koshi Ganguly is also a phenomenal actor.
hmm,
Okay, and that performance of his throughout the show and especially in the final episode, that is jaw dropping.
hmm,
People
hmm,
need
hmm,
to see that show for that performance specifically.
hmm.
Yeah, so I like this show a lot. I would recommend it highly
It's a
to
big
everyone.
recommendation. Yeah,
Big recommendation. Yeah,
on Z5.
yeah, on Z5. Yeah,
Before we move on,
you
Varun is
all should
saying,
check out
speaking of
Bhaskar
Sherlock,
Villa.
you all should check out Bhaskar Villa. That's a real thing, I swear.
Is
What
it
is this?
Bhaskar Villa or Bhaskar Bose? Bhaskar Bose is an audio podcast kind of. Bhaskar Villa is a show, yeah.
I
Oh
have
wait,
no
starring
idea.
Randeep Hooda, I think. I
Bhaskar
think
Villa.
it's. I think so.
I don't know. Varun should
Yeah,
put it in comments about the show.
yeah.
Really. Um. So the next show that I really liked and one of my favorites from this year is something that I watched very recently,
Mhm.
as in literally 3 days back, and it's a show that you also really liked, and I know.
Mm.
Um, it's called Cinema Marte Dam Tak, which is a
Ah,
docu series.
fan, fan,
Uh,
fucking tastic. What a
beautiful,
documentary.
beautiful show.
Yeah, yeah.
It's directed by Vasan Bala,
Mm.
and
The better Vasanbala thingy. Yes, I
hey,
said that.
you didn't dislike Monica Oh My Darling
Monica?
that much, yaar.
I don't like that movie, man. I'm
But
sorry. I
इतना
have
तो नहीं था
no idea.
खराब यार. ठीक है. I mean, okay. But I really enjoyed the show.
Mm,
So I watched the first episode of the show first, like Cinema Marte
mm,
Dam Tak, and then I
mm,
didn't continue with the show because I got busy and all that. And in the
mm,
middle, I think Romantics had come out, and I binged on that Romantics
mm,
4 episodes
mm,
back to back.
mm, mm,
And I remember really liking Romantics, and I thought that it is more defining of the cultural space that we live in.
mm.
But
Good you
now
brought
that
up romantics because I will also talk about it. But good you
I
brought
mean,
up
I
romantics.
think both of them are really good
Both
companion
of
pieces. I
them are
think we
really
can
good.
kind of
Mm.
put them
Yeah, yeah,
together
yeah.
right now and speak
But
about them.
both of them are also very different forms of
Polar
exploration of the
opposites,
film. Yeah, polar
polar
opposites.
opposites, and both
Yeah,
of
yeah.
them are defining of
Mm-hmm.
film culture and just like the basic culture of the people and the kind of India that like the strat of society also kind of goes down to explore also. Like
Like
it
cinema
is not
Marte.
really huh. Go ahead, go
Hmm.
ahead, what?
Like Cinema Marte Damtak is exploring a substrata of movies and substrata of filmmakers
Huh.
you usually aren't going to watch immediately. You know, you
Yeah,
will
yeah.
watch it, say, scrolling down Z Cinema suddenly at late night at 1 o'clock, and
Correct.
suddenly you will see this movie.
A
You know,
Ramsey
that's not.
film or
Yeah,
huh.
yeah, 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 yeah. जो भी हो. So that like खून
Buland
भरी,
Darwaza.
yeah, yeah, खून भरी मांग or whatever the
Khu-
hell. So
Khoon
you
Bhari
get the
Maang
idea.
is Rakesh Roshan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you get the idea. So d- this is that, and then Romantics is exploring the ultimate in a commercial movie space of Yash Raj. And some
Hmm.
might argue that it's a propaganda piece. I say sure, it's a propaganda piece, but
But
propaganda
I
piece for a
really like that.
studio.
Huh.
It's pretty well made propaganda piece for a studio. I understand, and I was interested in Aditya Chopra because I did not know what he looks like. So like 90% of the Indian population, sue me, but you get the idea that yeah,
Hmm.
after that I realized that some of the choices, the choices he has made before, they might have worked out. Current choices he's making not really working out, except Pathan, produced
Hmm.
by Uday Chopra. Yeah, so did Railwayman. I did not like that show, but
Railwayman is
then you
produced by Uday Chopra.
yeah, 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 because he's producing YRF TV na, isliye he's produced by
Acha,
Uday
acha. Okay,
Chopra.
okay, okay.
But again, it's like the different strata that Romantics and Cinema Matte Damtak is doing,
Huh.
it's a very interesting study. But I like Cinema Matte Damtak more because, again, it's a world I did not know about. It's a filmmaking
Hmm.
style I had no idea about, and its
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
directors. And what I absolutely liked is the passion of these directors. Some of these
Yeah.
directors consider themselves like great directors, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you need that level of passion and conviction to make movies like this. Otherwise, what's the
Absolutely.
point?
And also, people think of these things as like a low, like, as like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
very bad or whatever influence that
yeah,
it
yeah.
might have. But the kind of prosthetics and the kind of effects that they were kind of trying to do at that
Making.
time was
Mhm.
still much higher or greater than whatever cinema was being produced at that time as well, with bigger
Yes,
stars
yes.
also.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
of course.
those kind of stars wouldn't be able to pull off this, but I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure people working in this cinema would be able to do that,
Mhm.
is what my take on that would be.
Mhm.
And I had seen a couple of these films that was spoken about in the show cinema. So for people who don't know about Cinema Marte Damtak, it talks about uh, technically the B and C grade films from
So to
the
extent even the Z grade movies, but yeah. Yeah,
the
yeah.
late 80s to early 2000s, films which were made cheaply, films which had like a certain sense of filmmaking uh, which is very over the top but also a
Mm.
little stupid in its own sense, but it owns up to that stupidity. I think maybe
Again,
stupid is the
it's
wrong term that I'm using.
it's the
uh,
basic definition. It's the basic definition of a B movie. A B movie's ultimate
hmm.
aim is to provide catharsis to the viewer. At the very least,
Ha,
if you did
correct.
not expect anything, you will be expecting catharsis. Now, catharsis in
Absolutely.
what
Ha.
form, that is up to you. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
catharsis because you want to see a sleazy picture,
yeah.
satisfying all
Erotica
of your,
or a
yeah,
horror
yeah, or a
or
horror or whatever? It will
yeah,
satisfy
yeah.
you.
So
Matlab, you will be entertained
yeah.
at the
So
very
for
least.
me, it was more to do with a certain joy that I used to for no mean it was more to do with nostalgia कि जब मैं देखा करता, because I used to watch a lot of television back in the day. Like I used to watch everything on Set Max, Z, Star Gold, whatever channels were there at that point.
Hmm.
And so for me, it became like the first episode was just this joy, this adrenaline inside me. And I think the same happened with the romantics as well, because that is
Yes.
the kind of cinema I explored with my father.
Yes.
So for me, both of them were just this certain joy. And okay, so the romantics wasn't really um a reality check, wasn't a reality check of that kind of cinema. But Cinema Marte Damtak really delves deep into the
It's a
reality
reality
check
check.
of the
Mm-hmm.
people who were affected by it, people who were
Mm.
making it, and the repercussions of things and everything around them, the culture shock, the people who were making it, and the people who were watching it, also the people who were distributing it. It covers every facet of
Every
the
facet.
making,
It's a
and
very
I thought it is
educational
just
experience.
brilliant.
It's a very educational experience for people who
Yeah,
want to know more about
absolutely.
filmmaking. It's
I
very
mean,
educational.
so it
Mm,
is informative and also entertainment for me.
mm,
Like I
yeah,
was
yeah.
entertained by what kind of stories these kind of people are, because
Mm,
I never knew what kind of person Kishan Shah was, and
mm-hmm.
I never knew of Kishan Shah in the first place. I knew of Kanti Shah
Yes,
only.
exactly. Kanti Shah everybody knows, but nobody knew who Kishan Shah was.
Kishan
Yeah.
Shah was, and then the kind of person is, I was thinking कि भाई इसको shoot भी कैसे किया, because this guy is just photoing everywhere, like
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
in the middle of shoot he's going and drinking in the middle of
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah, yeah.
He's like 7 बज गया, मेरा drink का time है.
मेरा ड्रिंक
And
का
I was
टाइम
like,
है.
man, this guy is a wild human being. Like, I can't
Mm,
imagine him being in whatever the 90s doing
yeah, yeah.
even crazier things possibly.
Mm. Also,
So,
I like the
huh,
conceit of the show, right? The entire conceit of the show is these, wayward times ke directors ko, they will be given a second chance by Amazon to create a movie which they had made.
exactly,
So that was the
exactly. Are
conceit.
this is proper like meta thing coming into play, right? It's catharsis.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, yeah. It's
It is
catharsis
catharsis.
again.
Like वो जैसे खत्म हुआ था, like that era, how it basically ended. Like
Hmm.
they were all saying, right? Like, I mean, in the show they kind of mentioned that uh, they did make one to two films and they couldn't release that at that point
Yeah, yeah.
in early 2000s, and they're unreleased films, and
Hmm.
they've never walked on a red carpet or like had a premiere of their
Hmm.
films because their films were not for the kind of people who were watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I think this is just great enjoyment because I felt a lot of fun. I cried in the show, which
Hmm.
I don't think so has happened in many of the shows that I've seen. Films में तो
Yeah.
हाँ, that feeling is a little immediate because it's happening in a certain smaller time frame. But
Hmm.
shows is are always longer and there's so much that is happening. Um, but
Yeah,
when a
yeah.
show affects you that emotionally, you kind of are completely blown away by the simple things that they do, and it's not about just exaggeration and everything. Yeah, but yeah, even the romantics was great, but I think just cinema marte dam tak kind of
Mm.
trumps with that melancholia in that certain
I think
sense.
romantics. I think romantics works when it is focusing on Yash Chopra, because that is the
The first two
history I want to
episodes, the
explore.
first two
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
half
The
episodes, I think.
first two and a half and the last episode, which is finally last episode ka end ke towards when it is finally focusing on Yash Chopra
Huh.
again before his
But in the middle of, I think,
though.
third episode and whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last episode, I think 4 episodes, right?
In 4 episodes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So the
And
second ka next half to the entire third episode is when the show is finally going to show that,
correct.
oh, we are also a
Yeah.
Yashraj manifesto. So
I really liked one thing of how they built the myth of Aditya Chopra also. They were like, this
mhm,
guy is a prodigy. He used to write
yeah,
reviews. I mean,
mhm.
all that makes me feel a little happy. Like someone who loves films is making films. But
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
it became a little too calculated about what they were really telling about the company
mhm,
and the man himself.
yes,
So
of
थोड़ा
course.
dicey था, but I
Mm.
still really liked the
Yeah,
show
yeah,
because
I
very
enjoyed it. I
defining.
enjoyed it. When
Hmm,
you're watching the show, you can't help but be swept away by that entire
yeah.
feeling of watching something like this.
So
Yeah,
we'll go to a bit of comments because there are loads of them that
yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
haven't
okay.
read. So Varun, do you think Indian streaming shows have the same pretension of depth while actually being superficial, a la Karan Johar?
I think some of the shows do, especially because some of these shows, they've
Like
missed the
which
point
ones?
of, like, there are lots of MX player ka shows, theek hai, which are just
Huh, I
whatever.
think now those that kind of quality has migrated to Geo Cinema, right?
And Geo Studios, yeah, which again brings me back to Geo Cinema, which is now like become a dumping ground for all of these things. So
Everything, dumping ground for
when
everything. Like,
shows,
yeah,
the entire point of TV show, which most of these filmmakers and producers are missing, is just because you have a bigger runtime doesn't mean that you have to focus completely on the plot all the time. When you're
hmm,
focusing on plot all the time, you're missing out on
hmm,
characters. A
yeah, yeah,
show's USP is its characters, because you have
correct. We
time,
we just
you
discussed.
can
Huh.
develop on characters. Yeah.
Hmm,
So if they don't have that, you automatically remove all the depth out of it.
hmm,
इसीलिए ये नीरज पांडे के जो जो शोज निकल रहे हैं, लाइक से फ्रीलांसर और से जो भी
correct.
हो,
Or special op, or
और
what
से
was it?
द
Khaki?
नाइटमेयर और खाकी या द बिहार चैप्टर, और से
Hmm,
ये नाइट मैनेजर का जो रीमेक आया है,
hmm.
those shows, like those
I
shows
haven't
are
seen it
just
though.
I haven't seen it either. I don't want to, but I get the idea why the show is being made, and the show is the most
Hmm,
watched show. After all, you have Shobita Dudipala and Aditya Roy Kapoor and Anil Kapoor. At this point, who the fuck is not going to watch except like people like you and me? So
hmm,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that shows का depth का बात नहीं है. At this point, people, all the people who are making these shows are just looking at how many clicks they're getting on their website, and that is why they're
Hmm.
making them. But
Hmm.
this bubble is going to burst anyway, because it is getting physically not possible at this point. And
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
need, people need something to root,
That's
people need something
that's
to be
that's
captured for
actually
them.
a problem, huh? Because
Yeah, yeah,
I
of course
feel
it's a problem.
वो pretension has seeped into a majority, but I think uh, you need to have that kind of knowledge to really cut through the clutter and know ki what is worth it and what is not, what isn't.
Yeah, 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 of
I,
course.
I think that's where a lot of reviews can help
Hmm.
in judging what show is, and also in a sense, if you look at it, every platform has kind of a certain philosophy with the kind of shows that are coming out. Like I feel
Hmm. Hmm.
Hotstar is trying to be the most mainstream it can be. Like it's trying
Hmm.
to get the biggest of the biggest stars. They got Anil Kapoor and Aditya
When
Roy
your
Kapoor,
flagship show is Coffee with Karan, you have to be mainstream, right?
which will also take me at some point to Dhruv's comment. KWK का mention भी होगा कहीं, which
हाँ,
has
हाँ।
happened, Dhruv. So
आ गया सर, आ गया सर। आपका आपका फैंडम का आ गया सर। हो गया।
no,
और नहीं होगा
that's the thing.
मेंशन।
उनका USP वही है, उनका philosophy वही है. They want bigger stars, universal shows. That's why so many of the remakes, so many
But what
remakes.
they don't understand, what they're not getting at, कि if
Hmm.
you're making remakes and everything, that if you're getting such a huge platform, why not make good quality content भाई? वही तो मेरा
हाँ,
क्वेश्चन है।
फिर वही cut the clutter की बात है. I think
Cut the clutter।
people who haven't, like, Night Manager was on Hotstar itself, and before that, The Night Of, which was remade into um,
Criminal justice।
Criminal Justice.
Hmm।
So they had those shows, and now those shows aren't available on their platform. So it becomes like कि these are our mainstays. So people
Hmm।
who won't pay ₹1,000 for Geo Cinemas subscription for HBO, they can pay 1,500 for Hotstar.
Hmm।
Get these kind of remakes, which aren't technically bad but are diplomatically mediocre,
Hmm।
and uh, and they can get sports and everything else around it. Like
But
Coffee with Karan
but
also comes
वही
along with it.
वही ना कि इफ यू हैव सो मच मनी, लाइक एप्लॉज
हाँ,
एंटरटेनमेंट का बिजनेस मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है, ठीक है। आई हैव नो
हाँ.
आइडिया व्हाट दे आर डूइंग। मतलब इफ यू हैव सो मच मनी, व्हाई आर यू टेकिंग द लाइसेंस फॉर बीबीसी इंडिया फॉर रीमेक? इफ यू हैव सो मच मनी,
Hmm.
राइटर्स हायर करना क्या इतना प्रॉब्लम है? मतलब राइटर्स
Yeah.
क्या मिल नहीं रहे हैं क्या बॉम्बे में क्या राइटर्स नहीं मिल रहे? अजीब है भाई। It's a you have to take Luther ka rights to make Rudra. Now I liked the
You
first
liked
season.
Rudra. I
I
couldn't
li-
continue beyond the first episode, and
yeah, yeah,
we
I
spoke.
liked Rudra. I liked Rudra. One of the
Ah.
primary reasons I liked Rudra is because of Ajay Devgan's intensity. That is the
Hmm.
one role I think he's
Hmm.
tailor made for.
Hmm.
But again, what's the point of remaking a show like that?
I
That's
mean,
the
I
whole
think,
thinking.
and I think that they're kind of getting back a lot of filmmakers who were making so many films,
Hmm.
and someone like Tigmanshu Dhulia has just directed so many of the pilot episodes here, and I think he
Hmm.
directed the Great Indian Murder, which I know you've seen it,
Yes. Yes.
which was just
Dog shit show. Dog shit
really
show.
annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
Then he made
Annoying.
something with related to love with Rasika Duggal and Purab Kohli. I forgot the name,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
about infidelity and something which I don't remember. I
I think
watched
it
the
was an
first season.
episode of Unpaused या कुछ भी था. I don't even remember. I
No, no,
think
no.
it was
This
an
is
episode
on
of
Hotstar. I'm talking all Hotstar shows only now. Then
Mhm.
Criminal Justice is of course produced by Rohan Sippy, and
Then there is some sort of a dystopia show na with not even dystopia show, some sort of a religious discord ka show na with the Boman Irani and somebody. Then there is a zombie pandemic ka show with Trita somebody. I don't even remember. See, that's
I
the
don't
whole
know.
point. See,
I
that's
don't
the
know
whole
about
point,
this.
right? See, that's the whole point, right?
Hmm.
Like there is a
Yeah,
Bijoy Nambia show called Kala,
which I watched, which I
which
did
you
watch.
watched. Which
Yes,
you watch. Bijoy Nambiar at the very least is a stylistic director who you can watch and be entertained to a certain extent.
directorial
Like I
voice
like
है उसकी at
Tash.
least. Correct.
Like I like Tash
Like,
in
okay,
C5.
I'll just quickly. Kala is not in my favorites list, but 2 cents on Kala is like the show is full stylistic. Like,
Mhm.
but it is such a huge hot mess of
Yeah, yeah.
so many random things that are happening,
It doesn't
and the
surprise me
only
at
thing
all.
that is
Yeah.
the saving grace is his style. And I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
It
अगर
doesn't
ये
surprise
director
me.
नहीं होता, मैं 2 episode के आगे नहीं बढ़ता. Like it is such big of a mess that the first episode is 30 minutes and it's not even a good setup.
Hmm.
But what I really liked is how he kind of presents those characters, how he's kind of playing with the camera, sound, music. He kind of just pushes in the style to, just
Mhm.
in your face, which you kind of try to, which becomes like entertainment, which I think is Hotstar's policy, and it kind of is working with their philosophy.
And then
And
there are the subcategory of shows I call the KK Menon led shows, which are just completely coasting on KK Menon ka charm and nothing else at this point. Matlab, even if the show is well made and everything, all of the other for a company that started a new show with AIB, Hotstar's current catalog is, to quote Amartya, dog shit. Yes, exactly. So
but we'll talk about that one show which we both liked and is on Hotstar
yes,
this
yes.
year.
Yeah. We will talk about it.
Mm,
The other thing which I was going to talk about is KK Menon. Now, I have a
mm,
bone to pick with this because KK Menon,
uh,
goddamn gifted actor. You people,
yeah,
all the people who are
yeah.
employing him, you people have no idea how much you are misusing that guy, because that guy is such a gifted actor.
Mm-hmm.
Irfan Khan, Manoj Bajpayee, KK Menon. These are the three pillars
Mm,
of Indian actors who can act through anything. They can act
mm,
through a goddamn phone book. They are so good. Bombay
ah,
Meri Jaan. Bombay Meri Jaan, a
mm,
show which is about the Mumbai underworld. In concept, it is about the rise of the Mumbai underworld, and it should depict the rise and fall. It should be a
mm,
show in. It should be a show that should be hugely successful if it was made in the early 2000s.
mm,
Right
mm.
now in 2020, I have no idea underworld ka kya scene hai. The
No, but
last I heard is Dawood Ibrahim got poisoned 2 days ago by a guy through his security, and the
अरे,
most it got was a Twitter handle. That's it. और कुछ नहीं है.
for
यही तो सीन है.
for more information, you can watch RGV ka the latest crime saga. Do you know about this film called D Company that he made in
2005
2021?
का. The
He
2021 का I
made another
don't
film
think.
in 2021 called D Company. I could,
You are shitting me.
yeah, there is a film, and he's trying to pull off a lot of Goodfella things in this, which is I don't want to talk about it, but whatever. I wanted to
No,
bring
no,
in the
but
RGV mention.
Yeah, of course. No, but my point is Bombay Mirijan, of course. Aditya.
Of
No, but
course.
my point is like Bombay Mirijan should have been a shoe in, and it is,
Hmm.
मतलब जो budget में रहा है, it is
Huh.
really well made, but it is
Yeah.
mediocre as hell. The only reason the show is watchable is because of KK Menon and Avinash Tiwari, two great actors.
Yeah. Avinash Tiwari is fantastic in what at
Avinash
least
Tiwari is
everything that I've
fantastic.
seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Avinash Tiwari is fantastic. I debate as to whether he's a good Dawood Ibrahim, but he
That's
is
a
a
separate.
fantastic
But
actor.
I feel I didn't watch the show, but I saw your review ka heading, which
Yeah.
is like Once Upon a Time in Mumbai stretched to a show, right? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
basically
I've
that.
seen this iteration in so many films now. Like
Exactly.
ब्लैक फ्राइडे से लेके इवन दैट अर्जुन रामपाल मूवी कॉल्ड डैडी, उसमें भी हम लोग ने फरहान अख्तर को देख लिया. वी सीन
Yeah,
वंस
yeah.
अपॉन अ टाइम मुंबई, शूट आउट इन
That is
वडाला
the
बाय
that is
संजय
one of the
गुप्ता.
worst. That is one of the worst iterations of Dawood Ibrahim. Oh my Jesus Christ! What the fuck was Farhan Akhtar doing in that movie?
हाँ,
उसका लोग बार सेट हो चुका है. Yes, exactly. Uh, and it's Varun.
एग्री विथ मी.
No,
या,
no, but but that's the thing, right? कि
हाँ.
content का glut. Railway Man. I couldn't watch beyond 10 minutes
Wait,
of the
so
show,
wait,
and
what all shows has he been in? Railwayman, Special Ops 1 and 1.5.
Special Ops ka 1 and 1.5. He will get a season 2 for it. Bombay Mirijan, I think, should get a season 2 because it's been watched by a lot of people.
So it's a success.
Rail
Okay,
It was success. Railwaymen, lots of people. Railwaymen, I think lots of people have seen. You know,
okay. So
and
quick,
I'm
you
pretty
seen
sure
it?
he's get.
Did you watch it?
I'm getting to that. So I started watching. I went through halfway. I am going to
Okay.
ask you something. Have you seen the show?
No, no. I just saw it's
Its
4
sound
episodes. I never.
its sound design is garbage. Its sound design is garbage. It's like they forgot. It's like they are trying to make it a altman-esque thingy कि ठीक है, क्योंकि diegetic sounds and everything चल रहा है, ठीक
Yeah,
है,
yeah.
उसके बीच से dialogue निकालना है. When you are doing something like that, your entire point is कि dialogue का sound को mix के above रखना है, क्योंकि लोगों को समझ में आए. That's the whole point, when you are doing
Crazy.
something like that कि
And
outside
you तो don't
music.
even put on subtitles, na? So you, for you, it would have been even
No, no,
tougher.
मैं
You
उतना
तो,
स्नॉब
you
नहीं हूँ.
told me that you don't put subtitles, so
मैं उतना भी स्नॉब नहीं हूँ, बट जो भी हो, मतलब when you're doing something like that,
हाँ,
you're putting a sound, you're putting a background score, क्योंकि ये YRF है,
हुँ, हुँ,
ये तो
हुँ,
चर्नोबिल नहीं बनाएंगे रेलवे मैन के नाम पे. तो you're putting this, you're putting background noise, you're putting diegetic sounds, you're putting dialogues, and you're doing everything, and then your
हाँ,
mixing is making everything seem garbled.
हुँ.
It's like I couldn't hear some of the stuff. It's very
Like the words are
jarring for me.
indecipherable. Is that the thing?
Sometimes yes, sometimes yes, it's jarring to me.
Hmm.
And so I was so distracted, I was like, I can't watch this.
Hmm.
It's not possible for me, I can't watch this. I
Hmm.
am very interested because I like Divyendu, I like all the actors, I like
Yeah.
Divyendu, I
Yeah.
like KK Menon, I like Madhavan. Babil Khan I've heard is very good in this, so I
Yeah.
wanted to watch this. Kya dekhu main iska?
Chalo, I mean that's one of those things na कि like you can't. But Dhruv says Robert Altman को ला रहे हो यहाँ.
अरे नो, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द ऑल्टमैनिज्म का थिंकिंग. ठीक है, ऑल्टमैन नहीं चाहिए, बॉम्बॉक बोलूं? क्या चाहते हो भाई? मतलब यू डोंट वांट दिस,
Uh,
यू डोंट वांट दैट, व्हाट डू यू वांट मी टू डू? सो क्या बोलूं?
okay, one more comment. Varun says Bombay.
बम्बई इज डायरेक्टर,
Very nice
हाँ,
director
सुधा
was
सौदागर.
Siddharth Sudhakar. He was
हाँ,
also
सुधा सौदागर.
coincidentally a co-producer on the Manoj Bajpayee film Gulmohar. Surprisingly,
Yes, again,
I did.
not a bad movie, not a great movie either. It's a more or less good movie. It's fine.
Zone of interest bola, which is for the sound design
We are
is
not
what
we are
Dhruv.
not going there. We are not going there.
Okay. Sanket says hello, 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 Sanket. How are
Hello
you?
Sanket Bhau. Hello.
Before we move on, I just want to complete a little bit of comments and then we move on straight
Mhm.
up to Apna list,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
I have missed some. Gursimran says hello, Sanjeet. Kya hal chal? Hi, Gursimran. How are you doing? Everything's
मेरा
good here.
रैंट सुन रहा है बंदा और क्या कर रहा है.
uh, why does the show sound like that Sanjay Kapoor Amazon show? He's talking about Shikarpur. That's
Shikarpur is not there, ठीक है? That Sanjay Kapoor का Amazon show was a ghost show. This is not a
what was the
ghost show.
name of
This is
that
a
show?
proper. I don't remember.
But
This
it
is
was set
the
something in the east or something, no?
this is the
Northeast.
typical reaction you will get from everybody when you ask them what was the name of that Indian show. I don't remember.
I could very well be confused. And I know which show is which one. But Aranyak also had come out the same year, which is 2021.
Yes,
And
and
I think
that show
Aranyak
also
came
came
out
out
in
the same.
December. And I was like, भाई
Ananya
ये
came out in
trailer
December.
aesthetic
That
तो बिल्कुल सेम है वो Amazon show से.
हाँ हाँ हाँ. By the way, I saw that Sanjay Kapoor का show. That show I could not stand for more than 2 episodes. जा नहीं सका उससे ज़्यादा, मतलब कुछ तो है उस शो में which was stopping me. Maybe I was just bored. Who knows?
Bhaskar Villa is an audiobook kind of
हाँ,
thing
yeah.
on the Hound of Baskervilles.
नहीं चाहिए
Okay.
सर, नहीं चाहिए सर. बुक है हाउंड ऑफ बास्करविल्स का, मैं उससे ही खुश हूँ.
Varun says, no,
नो.
Monica. Oh, my darling slander, please. Please.
Another Kiko Higashino का adaptation which completely butchers it. Again.
Dhruv says, the killer mention incoming,
No, I
which
didn't
is
mention it.
lucky you, Dhruv. Another comment by Dhruv is Q De
You did
Dhanadans
another
Paisa, which is
paisa.
for
Yes,
Hotstar.
for
And
Hotstar. Yeah.
ah, so yeah,
Any
I
more?
think the next show that I would want to put out and something that I
Mm.
really, really enjoyed was School of Lies, which is on Hotstar.
Yes. Yes, yes,
And
yes.
if we haven't mentioned अपना previous shows का streaming services, Cinema Marte Dam Tak is on Amazon Prime.
It's on Prime Video.
Um, The Romantics is on Netflix. The
Netflix.
Trial by Fire is on Netflix, and Jubilee is on
Jubilee is on
Amazon
Amazon Prime Video.
Amazon Prime.
Mm.
So all Amazon Netflix shows, and this is the first Hotstar entry, um,
Yes.
which is
Shikarpur is on Z5. Just
Shikarpur
putting
is
it
on
out there.
Z5. And
Yeah.
so School of Lies is directed by Avinash Arun and also co-created and written by him. And for
And
people who don't know Avinash Arun,
Ishani Banerjee, I think, also
I
wrote
think so.
wrote
I
the.
completely forgot
Ye-
the co-creator's name.
Yes.
And for people who don't know Avinash Arun, he's a cinematographer who shot a
Mm.
lot of really good films. Like he
Mm.
shot, I mean, at least his work has always been a standout, I think.
Mm.
And he's directed a couple of films called Killa and directed the show called Patalo, co-directed the show called Patalo, which is the most famous amongst
Yes, and
web
he's
series.
also and he's I think the sole director of the upcoming season 2 of Patalok, which is hopefully coming out in January of next year. So
Correct.
we will get that soon
And
enough.
he directed the very recent Three of Us, which again had rave reviews, and we couldn't watch it because it didn't release. near us.
Yes, मेरे
So
शहर में तो वैसे भी कुछ
very
रिलीज नहीं
interesting
होता है.
filmmaker, very
Hmm.
interesting filmmaker, and interesting in terms of the kind of choices he takes up. Um, you won't see any character or any genre movement being treated in any conventional way possible.
Yes.
Like he always takes a very normal. I'm using normal in a very in terms of just like if something like this mic exists, it exists around its surroundings. Like it
Hmm.
exists because of its of the context it is in. It is in context
Hmm.
with the laptop or someone who's speaking into the mic. So something that I really enjoy about his filmmaking is how he employs certain characters or the
Hmm.
atmospherics. And School of Lies again is in so many ways about the hierarchy of lies. So the story is set in a school somewhere
School near a hill station, I think
in a hill
possible.
station,
Yeah.
um, fictional hill station, I'm assuming,
Hmm.
and
Dalton Town. It's called
Dalton
Dalton
Town,
Town.
and
Yeah.
it kind of is about the missing of this one kid, one student, and how the the web of lies is kind of, and it kind of the lies kind of snowball from
Yes.
hierarchical, the teachers
Huh.
to the students to parents
To the parents, to everybody,
to his
everybody, literally.
classmates, and
Yeah, yeah.
that is something that I really enjoyed, like how it kind of works around the theme of
Yeah.
things.
I think the show. I think one of the reasons why I had a problem with the show, and I think I was talking with Varun, and in the beginning I think the show was very much intent on being like a mystery thingy. Okay,
Correct,
so
correct.
it was like it was like biding its time, and I felt
Yeah.
because it was a mystery thingy, it was taking just slightly too long, which is
Hmm.
why I was quickly losing interest. But by
Hmm.
the third fourth episode ka end, it
It picks up.
slowly started getting into the drama of it all,
Correct,
because
correct,
at the
correct.
end of the day it's a drama, and it's a very bleak drama if you think about it,
Very
because it
bleak.
is not
Yeah.
leaving anybody out. It is
No.
leaving teachers out, it is leaving parents out, it is questioning whether parents have any functionality, how
Yeah.
much can they teach, how much can they teach their children when they're themselves so fucked up. So
Hmm.
all those questions, they're bringing
Hmm.
those out,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know and it's bringing them out in such a way that it doesn't feel forced or over the top or anything like that. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
very
It doesn't
interweaving, it's
sensationalize
very slowly.
anything. It
Yeah, yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
sensationalize anything.
All of the things which it is talking about are ripe for sensationalism. We are
Yeah.
not spoiling anything what it is revealing. Okay, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
all of the things it is bringing up, they're ripe for sensationalism, but it doesn't do any of that.
Yeah.
And as a counterpoint to young
Hmm.
performances this year, the last
Hmm.
week ka movie which we discussed, if we compare that to the younger cast ka performances in this show,
Yeah. Yeah.
heaven and hell difference. The younger cast ka
Absolutely.
performances in this show is phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
That's the three leads, the young kid
Hmm.
and the two older teenage kids, those three
Hmm.
guys, they're
Yeah.
phenomenal in this.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm.
Like they carry the show. And Amir Bashir is so good in this. Amir Bashir, oh,
He's
oh my
so good in this.
god.
I was just blown away by his performance because
Episode
there are
5 mein
so
when he
I
had the
think
breakdown. Episode 5 mein when he had the breakdown with
correct.
Mohan Kapoor ka character, his elder brother ka
Yeah.
character, when he was having the breakdown, that
Yeah.
moment is so good. It was just
Again,
so good.
the whole, I mean, even that track is kind of about hierarchy. I mean, not hierarchical,
Yes,
but
it's
like
a hierarchy. It's
it kind
hierarchical.
of comes down from
It's
whoever is older
generational.
to that person.
It's generational. It's generational
Generational
also,
is the
right?
right word.
Generational
Correct,
trauma.
correct, correct,
It's
correct.
generational trauma, and it's also that. And what I loved is the fact ki I did not expect it, like
Hmm. Yeah,
non-linearity to a certain extent. I did not
yeah,
expect the non-linearity to come out of nowhere in the final episode. And that I think is because Avinash Arun uses cinematography very interestingly here. You
yeah.
know, Mm, it's like how he's using nighttime shots or a blue color palette, and how
Hmm.
he's using the lighter softer color palette or the cleaner color palette in the
Cleaner
present day
or
sequence of
just very,
you won't understand it until the second last episode, when you will finally
hmm.
realize, oh wait, this is how the non-linearity is actually working.
Yeah,
That's when you
yeah,
will
yeah,
realize. It's very interesting how he utilizes it, so it's again well done.
yeah.
I was
No, I mean,
genuinely
I think it's a
surprised.
very good. It's a big mystery film trope also, right? You kind of
Yeah, yeah.
put false narratives and stuff like that. I mean, it's not a spoiler in any way, but for it kind of takes you in a different journey, and you kind of realize, uh, the falsification of things, and how
Yeah, yeah.
lies, how that is also kind of lied upon and just
Hmm.
told to us in a way. So yeah, I think great show, one of my favorites. I
Great
don't know
show.
if it is in your list of favorites
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you
it
wanted
is
to.
in my list. It is in my
Yeah.
list. It is in my
So
list. Yeah.
yeah,
It
before we
came
move on,
up.
just couple of comments which Varun wanted to.
Yeah, yeah.
Varun said. Varun says also photographed by him, but
But
that's a
that's a redundant
redundant detail
relation.
with Avinash usually.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
Varun also says, is Lawrence Lovedale slander permitted? What is Lawrence Lovedale?
Okay.
Uh,
या यू कैन
what
कोई
is
भी
Lawrence
सिलेंडर
Lovedale?
चलेगा क्या है कोई भी सिलेंडर चलेगा क्या है लॉरेंस एबडेल इज स्कूल दैट्स
Oh,
अ स्कूल कोई भी सिलेंडर
uh,
चलेगा
then he says shot in Gangtok.
which
Great
one is
detail.
shot in Gangtok this one okay could be possible Amir
I
Bashir
thought
is
it
one
was
fan
somewhere in Shimla or Himachal or someplace, honestly.
yeah yeah if he
But
managed
whatever.
to
Yeah.
do oh,
Fan fucking
listen I
tastic.
did not say this
Amir Bashir
listen
is a
I did
fan.
not
I'll
uh,
just read out the comment because for people who are
uh,
listening only. Amir
uh,
Bashir is one fan fucking tastic actor. If he'd managed to do MNIK, maybe we'd have seen more of him. I mean, he's great. I mean, you need to give him the kind of roles also to perform, no?
yeah
To
yeah he
kind
was
of
also in he was also in Inside Edge if you guys remember that show me
he's
Amazon
the
ka flag
big sahib, right? The
Yeah,
big
yeah, yeah, yeah. Bada
Sethji or
Saheb, yeah.
whatever. Bada
Bada
sahib.
Saheb, yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Sanjay
S-
Kapoor wala.
Oh, Sanjay Kapoor wala. Yeah, yeah. Shot in Gangtok. Okay, okay.
Varun says School of
The
Lies is
School of
shot
Lies
in
is shot
Lawrence
in
Lovedale,
Lovedale.
OT.
Yeah, yeah. It's a school.
Oh,
It's a school. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't really know of the context of this, but
Yeah, yeah.
okay, whatever. I
Fantastic
have
place though, and how Avinash
okay.
Arun shoots that location. It's
Hmm.
gorgeous. Fantastic place. Have to admit.
Varun says Patil Saab. Okay, so that's the character in Inside Edge,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
another pulpy random show produced by uh,
Excel.
Excel.
It was cashing. It was encashing on that IPL ka fervor. That's what it was doing.
Yeah. But yeah,
Let's get in.
little digression before we go. To Inside Edge was created by Karan Anchuman, who had a show this year,
Rana Naidu.
Rana Naidu, which is also on
Can we
Netflix.
can we talk about that show? I'm just going to
Yeah,
say
just
two or three.
couple of
Uh,
lines. Yeah, what do you think
nothing
about
to.
it?
That show is like pulpy as hell. Like
Huh,
I love that Venkatesh is liberally cursing every single person around. But at this point,
continue.
continue.
No, I
No,
was
no,
just going to
like
say for people who don't know about Rana Naidu, it's a remake of the American
Ray
show called
Donovan.
Ray Donovan,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
remade by Karan Anchuman in India
yeah.
for
It's
Netflix. With
it's more
Super Mama.
enjoyable. It's more enjoyable than Ray Donovan sometimes. By the way, just
I
putting
haven't
it
seen
out
Ray
there.
Donovan, but the concept sounded very interesting. I
The
knew of the show
concept.
because it used to come on AXN in India,
Yes,
so I
yes,
was
yes.
aware of that show, or Star World or AXN, either of these channels.
Either of these
But
two. I think Star World only, but jo bhi ho.
but it is such a random show, like genuinely, like I feel it is not something
Listen,
I would pay
it's made
attention to,
by
but it is just playing in the background
it's
for me.
written by Supan Verma, ठीक है? Supan
Yeah.
Verma also made the trial. Supan Verma thinks that he's the only person in India who can throw galis, ठीक है? And after watching Rana Naidu, I am inclined to agree with him क्योंकि some of the galis in that show is so creative, even I had to clap. ठीक है?
Shit.
मतलब some of the galis in that show मतलब Anshuman Supan Verma,
Supan
co-director
Verma,
of the
co-director of the family. I don't think
Family Man
Anshuman
season.
directed Family Season 2.
Anshuman did not
Supan
do it.
Verma was one of the directors of the
Supan
episodes.
Verma was the dialogue writer. I can understand, but Family Man season 2, the only reason Supan Verma ka influence did not extend too much is because of Raj and DK.
Raj and
Hmm,
DK. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
there.
also, yeah, and also I think Rana Naidu ka scene yahi hai ki some of the dialogues I don't think even I could say it in a live YouTube ka scene because some of the dialogues are just insane. It,
Poetry.
it-
Poetry.
poetry मतलब अलग ही level का poetry है.
And the
But
thing is, Venkatesh's delivery is also
Venkatesh
just another level.
But Rana Naidu season 2 is going to fall flat on its face because Venkatesh has automatically said कि उसका उनका family audience देख नहीं रहा है show, इसलिए show को tone down करना पड़ेगा.
अरे
They have said it already
यार.
and the show is going to fall dead. I can guarantee you. Because show अगर
हाँ,
family friendly हुआ, show गया.
हाँ.
I can guarantee you.
Can't help
ठीक
it
है.
only.
Can't help it only. Speaking of Rajan DK, a show that came
Correct.
out this year, Rajan
Great
DK
segue.
का two
Two
shows,
shows
two
there.
shows,
Two shows.
two
Yeah.
shows. One show
Are
का
wait, wait.
बात
Are is any one of them in your favorite
no,
list?
no.
I would put Guns
Guns
and
and
Gulabs
Gulabs made it very
in a
close, but
great
nahi hai.
special mention
Yes, yes,
because I really enjoyed the show. But I feel,
yes.
I mean, it's a very freewheeling show. Like it doesn't have any
Yeah, yeah.
restrictions or anything. So they do a
And
lot
it
of
and
great
this is a
things.
show. Yeah, this is a show which is like, matlab, it's almost enthralled in the fact that it doesn't have much of a depth. It doesn't
Yeah,
want to
it's
have
it's
depth.
really enjoying,
Yes, it's
really
really just
enjoying what it
enjoying.
is. Yeah, yeah.
And
But go ahead.
Fuzzy on the other hand is like it's set in the Family Man universe and it's kind
Yeah,
of trying to be a like a Breaking Bad
Breaking
version.
Badish. I
Yeah,
we
breaking
discussed. It is
full
full
masala.
masala only. Like there's
I discussed it in an episode of Cinephile Sanket if he's watching. Uh,
Sanket is watching this episode. You can, if people who are listening to this, you can watch that episode on Sanket's channel where
uh,
Amartya has discussed about the show Farzi by Rajan
I feel
DK.
disgust might be unkind. I think disgust might be too kind. But जो भी हो, मतलब कुछ किया
हाँ,
मैंने वहाँ पे.
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
But जो भी हो. So like Guns and Gulabs and Fuzzy, two Raj and DK shows. Guns and
Yeah.
Gulabs slightly above it, but both of them are very good. Again,
Hmm,
great Gulshan Devaya performance in that show.
hmm.
In Guns and Gulabs.
Yeah. And the character was just so interesting. Like I was like कि ये character ये उन्होंने पहले से लिख के रखा हुआ है.
Yes, yes.
ये
They were
ये
going to
पहले से
put it
था.
somewhere. They
हाँ,
were
ये
going to put it
conception था,
somewhere.
idea था. They kind of just put, and I feel now they're kind of exploring their older stories. That's what I assume. These are not newer
Yes, yes.
stories. Farzi.
These are not.
Uh, so there was a film which was announced with Shahid Kapoor, like couple
Mm-hmm.
of years back before they made
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Gentleman, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it was the same concept which they made it into a show, and they were like, okay, let's make it into a show, and just
Hmm.
whatever. So, and I think then breaking away from whatever Family Man and Farzi to do this Guns and
Hmm.
Gulabs was just freewheeling, and I was like, now I was really enjoying that kind of vibe and the reality of that world. Very enjoyable, very
Yeah,
enjoyable.
yeah, yeah.
So Guns
Okay,
and Gulabs is
so
one of my special mentions, but yeah,
special
great, good
mentions.
show to
For me
watch.
too, special. Good show to
And
watch, pretty fun.
the last episode especially is great fun, great fun.
It's like a 1.5 hour or 2 hour long
Film,
ka movie,
it has an interval in the middle.
which has its own intermission. It's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Another show which is an honorable mention. The show is not in this list because I did not finish watching it. I just watched the first episode ka
Hmm.
half, but I can already tell that this is going to be a phenomenal show. I
Kala
did not
Pani.
watch it. Yeah, Kala Pani.
I
Phenomenal writing.
really good
Phenomenal
show,
writing.
which is in one of my
Phenomenal
favorite lists.
writing.
But you go with another one of your favorites, and then we'll go for Kala. I'll speak
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Kala Pani.
Yeah, you speak about Kala Pani. I was going to speak about Koda.
Well,
Uh,
I really like that show. Really like it.
what a fantastic show. Holy
Hmm.
crap. I did not expect the show to be so bleak. I did not expect the
Hmm.
show to be so dark. And again, it's like there are some shows which are like intent on
Hmm.
completely removing the veil of what Punjab actually is,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Gabbar was one 2 years
yeah.
back, which came out in Sony Live.
Hmm.
Cat that came out this year, which I did not see.
I
Randeep
did.
Hooda
I think it
starring
came out in December last year.
December last year, yeah, January this year. Jo bhi ho,
Something like
I
that.
did
Huh?
not see. Yeah, I did not see. I have heard that show is also phenomenal. And then
Hmm.
this show,
Hmm.
Surinder Vicky from Milestone, Meel Patthar,
Amazing actor. Amazing.
amazing. What an actor.
Varun Sobti also a brilliant performer.
Varun Sopti did not like him in Asul, loved him in this.
So
Very flawed actor, very
it's
flawed
directed
character he's playing. Hmm.
very flawed, and he's the show is directed by Randeep Jha, who made a
Randeep
very
Jha.
interesting film called Halahal with
Yes,
Varun Sobti, which
Varun
is
Sopti.
streaming
Yes,
on Eros now. It was a very
Hiroshima.
very interesting film which didn't get its due because it is on Eros now, and I'm
Hmm.
I'm sure nobody has an Eros now subscription.
Nobody has now Eros now subscription. But
Yeah.
also I think Coda's basic tenet is again a murder that happens. You know,
Yeah,
a murder of, I think, the foreign nationalist, and I think the murder of a very rich guy's son,
yeah.
rich
Of
industrialist ka
NRI, huh?
son. Yeah,
NRI, huh?
an NRI, and the missing persons report of a foreign nationalist who was the
Correct, correct.
NRI's friend.
Great
That is
premise.
the case. Great
Great catch.
premise, great catch, great premise. But what sets this show apart is the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
It is very bleak. It is very bleak. It is very violent at times, and I can
Yeah.
understand many people not liking the show because it is too dark.
Hmm.
I can understand it.
Like you
And
kind of feel that dread also
yes, yes, yes,
throughout the show.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. And it's also exploring, again, like male violence. The
Hmm.
male propensity to be violent. It is again
I-
exploring that
yeah,
to a certain extent,
in a better way.
but in a in a quite a better way, and quite a serious way. It's not
Hmm.
exploring it in a way that could be said as, a celebration of it, but it is
Hmm.
exploring it in a way that is showing the consequence of it, and it is very
Huh.
dark.
Huh.
It is
Again,
very dark
generational
and
trauma also, huh? Part of it.
generational trauma. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Part of the whole
It's
theme.
Yeah, yeah. It's made by I think Sudeep Sharma. So Sudeep Sharma, who
Uh,
made
and
NH10,
Gunjit
Patal
Chopra
Lok.
and Sudeep Sharma, they co-created it. And
Yeah,
Gunjit Chopra and Sudeep Sharma created Patalok, and Gunjit Chopra was the writer on
yeah, yeah.
Patalok as well.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
that pedigree is
yeah,
there. Again, if you guys
hmm.
haven't seen that show, watch that show. Watch that show for the atmosphere. They got Punjab bang on. I
Yeah,
think
I
they
think
got Punjab.
Patalok also had that episode, right, where
Yeah, yeah.
uh, it kind of digresses into that other character, one of the characters' life, and it
I
is in
got it.
Punjab.
Yeah.
And I thought it could be set in the same world
Like there are very
without
few
really
movies
forcing
which
it, but it kind of has the same aesthetic, is what I assumed.
The Utta Punjab thingy, which Abhishek
Yeah.
Chaubey, I think Abhishek Chaubey only Utta Punjab, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
Abhishek
Written by
Chaubey
Sudeep
got
Sharma. Written
written
by
by
Sudeep
Sudeep
Sharma.
Sharma. So you can understand the Punjab ka aesthetic is similar in
Yes.
that front, because
Very,
that
very
is
central.
the yeah, yeah.
For
It's
No, no,
जो भी
for
हो.
me, I think the bigger sell of the show were the characters.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
of
was like,
course.
they really broke the characters down to bare bones. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
could really explore who the person really is and kind of delve into why again, the same which I said about Avinash Arun, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Context is the bigger thing. Like, this
yeah, yeah.
person cannot exist without the context around that person.
Without a context surrounding, and
Like,
it's never
the
and it's
house,
never
the
like
bed, the
acknowledged, and it's
utensils
never
in the house.
acknowledged over. Mm-hmm.
So,
It's
go ahead,
never
go ahead, go ahead.
acknowledged overall. Like Barun
No,
Sopti
no,
का
no.
जो past है, Barun
Huh.
Sopti का जो past है, his past with his मतलब भाभी and his
Brother.
older brother, that is
Yeah.
never explicitly stated, but you know immediately that the entire
Yeah.
dynamic is very different.
Yeah.
It's something is off with that
Yeah.
dynamic. So
So
again, it's well done. It's just the so good.
one
Sometimes
more
some.
film which I'll
Hmm,
recommend, which is again, I'm digressing, but it has Suvinder Vicky as well. It is called Chauthi Koot, which is
okay,
directed by Gurvinder Singh, and
okay.
it kind of has very similar aesthetics to like the whole melancholic, कोहरा छाया हुआ
Hmm,
पूरा, fog laden Punjab fields and all that. It's very
hmm.
anti uh, pop culture Punjab that exists.
Yeah, yeah.
Directed by Gurvinder Singh. Great film to check out if you really like these kind of aesthetics. But yeah, the show which I really like and is in my favorite list and is Kala Pani, which
Mhm.
is on Netflix and has the same creators from TVF who've kind of separated themselves from the company, and they're making their
And
own.
honestly, I don't want to slander TVF here, but I think most of the better writers have all separated it. So because Bishwapati Sarkar, Amit Golani, all
The
those
the
creators,
kind of people who like the main top cream, the
the
management of,
cream of the crop, all of them have
yeah,
separated because
Golani,
it
Sameer
feels like
Saxena,
yeah, yeah,
um, Biswapati Sarkar.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so Kala Pani is set in Andaman and Nicobar. It's a show which is centered around a certain pandemic which happens in
Hmm.
2027. So that is the basic idea of the show, and how it kind of um, is about the cyclical nature. of things, and like how humans, they kind of pretend they've evolved, but they haven't really evolved. Like
Mm,
it's the same old human nature, which will kind of take us back to, you know, absolute nothingness, which will kill us all at the end of the day. But it kind of follows a lot of parallel storylines and how they connect to it, and how it is about nature, and nature being the overall, like the be all end all of things, and kind of dictating humans, while humans kind of think that they're dictating nature. So a lot of interesting ideas, a lot
mm.
of interesting characters, a great setting. Like Andaman and Nicobar, people don't even think it is part of India
Yeah.
to a certain extent. Like they wouldn't be aware about it. Uh,
Mhm.
so
Unless they want to go on a vacation. Other than that, they don't
yeah,
really talk about it.
I
Yeah.
mean, वो भी vacation is again a certain strata of society only. बाकी लोगों को तो
Yeah,
पता ही नहीं है.
एग्ज़ैक्टली। बाकी लोगों को तो
Lakshadweep
पता ही
and
नहीं है।
Andaman Nicobar are just kind of shoved. So how they kind of traverse through this nature, and survival is the only way, survival of the fittest, and all those themes are kind of brought into the picture. Very
हुँ।
organically done, very well made.
लाइक
Seven
मैंने
episodes.
मैंने जितना देखा आई
Huh.
वाज़ ब्लोन अवे बाय द राइटिंग, जस्ट ब्लोन
And
अवे।
I am telling you, there is so much more to these characters,
हुँ,
and
हुँ, हुँ।
great performances. Um, and I'm waiting for a season two, because this is
या,
something I
या।
want to watch. What happens, because it is a story. It's not like it's going to create something for the sake of it. It is a story you
अच्छा।
need to watch. Same for, again, I haven't said this for any other show, but Kora again, I really like Suvinder Vicky and Varun Sopti's character. I would watch
या।
another murder mystery with them.
हुँ, हुँ, हुँ।
I wouldn't say the same about Jubilee or even
या,
other shows,
लाइक
but yeah,
जुबिली वी डोंट वांट अ सीज़न 2।
yeah.
आई तो डेफिनिटली डोंट
I
वांट अ
think it's a
सीज़न 2।
self-sustained great
इट्स अ
story.
सेल्फ
It
सस्टेनिंग शो,
starts
या।
and ends. So yeah. Any other favorites that you have in your list?
Yeah, of course. I think I have one documentary because I need to
Uh-huh.
talk about this.
Uh-huh.
That is called The
Before
Hunt for
we end,
Veerappan.
because we just have 10 more minutes
Yeah.
to wrap
The
up.
Hunt for Veerappan. Uh,
Huh. Again on Netflix. So great
uh,
year for Netflix, huh?
Great
All
year
back
for
to back
Netflix, but
stuff.
also yeah. But again, you need to understand कि this comes amidst a glut of content. Like there is so much
Yeah.
shit in there कि
Yeah.
इनमें से कुछ अच्छा निकलना ही भी बहुत बड़ी बात है. So it's like
I mean, they
The
had
Hunt.
Scoop also this year.
Yeah, Scoop. I did not like Scoop that much. I
You
did
didn't
not
like
like
Scoop?
Scam 2003. I did not like Scam 2003 that much either.
So I mean,
It's
that is on
fine.
Sony Live, and I want to just throw again 2 cents on that show. But I sorry for interrupting, but I thought Scoop
Mm,
again is in my honorable mention. I thought 6 episodes pretty decent show, but I
decent.
felt it was shortened. I thought it could have been longer. That's what I
Mhm.
felt. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can continue with Veerappan, and then yeah, go ahead.
The Hunt for Veerappan I loved because I think the documentary style of it. I think number one, Veerappan ka entire
Mm,
story deserves a documentary. So
yeah,
I did not know anything about him. So from an information standpoint, it's a fantastic documentary.
yeah,
Number two, what I absolutely love is the fact that the documentarian is an active documentarian. He's not a passive documentarian. What that
yeah,
means is the documentarian isn't just intent on just letting the camera speak to the subject and letting the
yeah.
subject come through. No, the documentarian is intentionally challenging the person he's interviewing. You
Okay.
know,
So
in
I
the
mean, there
middle
are
of the take,
constant questions being asked. Is it?
not constant, but like important moments, may the documentarian is immediately asking questions. Like
Okay.
he's in the middle of, let's say, Virappan's wife stating something about Virappan ka goodness
Mm,
and all of that. The
yeah.
documentarian is instantly stopping her and saying, if that is the case, तो ये सब तो किया उसने, इसके बारे में आपका क्या ख्याल है? So
Huh.
immediate, and like
Okay.
that immediately punctures you for a second and you're like,
Mm,
oh, you can make a documentary like this, and
mm.
it works, completely works. And
Yeah.
again, that is a show that just manages to inculcate form and
Mm,
information in a
yeah.
very interesting way. It packages it very well such that you can get the information throughout, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
There is a show on Z5 that came out 2 days ago called Kuse, I think, whatever,
Which
Virappan,
is also
which
based on
is
Veerappan. I know of that show. I didn't watch it,
y-
of course, but
yeah, but it is like from Veerappan's cassette tapes and everything. So it's the other side of the story. If
Okay.
Hunt for Veerappan is on the side of the people who are survivors of his gang, as well as the people they are interviewing, like his wife and the administrators and everything,
Huh.
this is like taking into archival content of Veerappan, the Z5
Okay.
Boiler show. So
Okay. Okay.
that
Okay.
is an interesting counterpoint I would like to revisit.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. Just so you know,
Interesting.
there is a Virappan film by RGV also. Uh,
Yes. I don't know. I haven't heard great things about it, but
no, no.
yeah.
So it's made in Hindi also, but the Hindi version apparently isn't great. I haven't seen the film, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But the Kannada version of it had gotten
Starring
rave
Shivaraj
reviews.
Kumar, right? Shivaraj Kumar, right? The
I
one
don't know.
starring.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen it, but it did well at box office in 2016. So
Okay.
maybe that is another perspective. That's the more RGV perspective of things, which he'll just glorify.
Also,
Uh,
also like Veerappan, surprisingly, is one of the most referenced characters throughout film history
hmm.
in India. To be very honest, like many dacoits are based on
Hey,
him.
wait. I watched something recently, and he was Scam 2003.
Scam
We
2003. Yes.
he was nicely mentioned as part of the
He
whole
was
thing.
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that is true. Because like Rajkumar, Shiva Rajkumar's grandfather was actually kidnapped by father or grandfather was
Yeah,
kidnapped
yeah.
by Veerappan, right? So that entire thingy,
Hmm.
yeah. So that entire thing, and it's like Veerappan has been the source of many of Sonwar dacoits. Like
Huh.
Pushpa, किसी के सामने नहीं झुकेगा. Pushpa was based on Veerappan,
Huh, it's inspired by it. That too I know.
inspired by
Like
him.
the whole
Yeah, yeah. So
sandalwood
you get
thing.
the idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The final show I would like to mention, which is one of the
One second.
su-
Varun says
father,
Dr.
yeah, yeah,
Rajkumar.
father, yes, Dr. Rajkumar, yes. So
Shiva
again,
Rajkumar is the son, and the second son was
Shiva
Puneet Rajkumar, who sadly
Puneet
passed away a couple
sadly
of
passed
years
away.
back.
Yes, 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 yes.
Hmm.
So the final show I would like to recommend is again a Bengali show, which
Yeah.
I did not expect to love this show so much, but
Hmm.
I will of course heartily recommend this to anybody.
Hmm.
Indubala Bhater Hotel. In
Hmm.
English, it is translated as the world of Indubala. What it means in literal translation is Indubala's Spice Restaurant. That's literally what
Okay.
it means. Indubala's Spice Restaurant.
Hmm.
This is a story about a woman who in her young age, in very young age, is being married off to a rich family, a well-to-do family in West Bengal. She lived
Hmm.
in East Bengal, which later becomes Bangladesh. Okay, so this
Okay.
is during that time. So this explores woman's life through her marriage,
Hmm.
her struggles because of her abusive husband, and abusive mother-in-law, her love for cooking,
Hmm.
her
Hmm.
trying to make it her trying to make a restaurant out of her because of her passion, and her trying to live through the restaurant and all of it during the 1970s Nakshal movement and the
Okay.
fight,
Okay.
and the
So what
battle of
genre is it really? Drama only.
drama.
Okay.
But the interesting bit is, and it also is set in the present day when the restaurant has completely become now
Hmm.
popular, and now college mess students
So
and
is it
everybody
like
comes to her.
intercutting between past present
Yes,
types?
that's what I
Okay.
was going to go to. What the interesting bit of the movie is, how is it presented? Now, the creator of the show is Devalaya Bhattacharya. Devalaya
Hmm.
Bhattacharya is the director of another show which came out this year called P.I. Meena, which is not exactly the greatest show, but it's still decent
I
enough.
left that show after two episodes, which I told you about.
Yeah,
I
but
couldn't continue.
Devalaya Bhattacharya is one of those true blue quote unquote auteur guys, okay,
Okay.
who has a distinctive directorial style. It's just that the scripts he gets are some of the worst scripts I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay.
Okay.
But his
Hmm.
style is very interesting because this show is kind of structured like a dream sequence. So it's not
Oh.
traditionally linear. Okay. His filmmaking style, I'll tell you, Sanjit, it's like 12th फेल में जो विधु विनोद चोपड़ा का जो कैमरा हैंडल का सीक्वेंस है ना, the camera is
Yeah. Yeah.
constantly
Yeah.
moving. So
Yeah. Yeah.
imagine that, lots of fisheye lenses, okay, and the entire thing is like shaped like not like a dream. Like one face, she is like taking a food, taking a raw material out, like say a fish or something, and then immediately that same sequence cuts to the past. Okay, like us fish say this
Okay.
entire thing is moving. Okay, then the past sequence occurs. Past sequence
Hmm.
occur करके फिर suddenly वो future में चला जाता है. And it
Okay.
sounds confusing. It isn't.
No,
It's
I think it's a
because
great pitch. I'm really interested in what really is
it's
happening
it's it's fantastic because it's
because it
like
just
it's like
sounds like just like visually too specific to things which I'm like, oh, I really would want to watch. मतलब सोच के किया
Yes.
होगा, right?
Yes, sir. It's very like vision driven. Okay, because it's like it's focusing on it because because the protagonist is now a woman who is old. The Shoka story is also like of memory and nostalgia. And
Okay,
nostalgia
okay,
cannot be factored in just by pictures alone. Nostalgia
okay.
is a combination of memory, pictures, sounds,
Hmm,
tastes,
hmm, hmm,
a lot of things. So
hmm.
it's like he's taking all of these individual factors of those and he's like structuring the story through that. There
Okay.
is older love, there is a form of older love, the love which has gone away, that
Yeah,
is structured throughout through the love story she has while making a sweet like a
yeah,
chandropuli or anything.
yeah.
And it's a really really wonderful show, and it's also like exploring like diaspora, like the refugee crisis of Bengal, like when
Okay.
such, yeah, so many refugees from East Bengal to West Bengal and all of that, and
Hmm,
the derision that West Bengal people had towards them, like that is not
hmm,
explored through the outside, that is explored through the inside, like interiority, so that is explored in
hmm,
the confines
hmm.
of a family structure. And
Okay.
it works because the exploration of history through the simple facet of a family, that is always interesting if done well.
Hmm.
I think Indubala Bhater Hotel does that really really well. And for people who are like complaining ki Bengali shows ka matlab Bengali shows, regional shows, they don't have an identity of its own,
Yeah.
you
You
know
should watch this.
this is not a show that doesn't have an identity. This is a show which is very much Bengali, it is very
Hmm.
specifically Bengali.
Okay. Okay.
But I think that specificity is also what gives it its charm.
Hmm. Okay.
So
Okay.
I would advise any Bengali who hasn't seen it should definitely watch it, because some of the dishes that are being told here, they are so well photographed, they're so well shot that you will get hungry immediately while watching this show. But yeah,
Okay.
but it's also a very beautifully written drama,
Okay. How many
and
episodes are there?
it has 8 episodes. Each episode is 30 minutes each, so it's overall a three
And
hour
does the story end with the season, or
Yeah,
are
yeah,
they
yeah,
going to be?
yeah, yeah. No, no,
Yeah.
no.
So
There
it's
is
a
not.
mini series basically.
It's a mini series basically. It's on Hoichoi. I will
Okay.
recommend strongly. Watch it.
100% I'm gonna
Strong.
watch it.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just gonna read a few comments before
yeah,
we wrap up everything.
yeah,
And I want to slander Scam 2003, which I'll do now
yeah,
after
yeah.
this. Quickly. Sanket says आज का मुन्ना भाई MBBS का video, which I'm assuming उसका episode होगा आज, which we've
Mm-hmm.
kind of clashed.
Mm.
Then Sanket also asks, how was G Karda?
Haven't
I
seen.
didn't watch it. Neither do I intend to watch it
Yes, yes.
because
It's
I don't
felt
think so. I have
like
the
I
time
think
to.
is it's the Tamanna Bhatia show, right?
Yes.
Uh yeah. So the Tamanna Bhatia show, it felt like Amazon again trying to make another hit, like four more shots, please. So for the four more
Ah,
shots audience, please watch it. It's made for you. It's not made
I
for
can't do
us.
it. Can't do
Yes,
it at the
it's
moment.
not made for
Not
us.
because I
Thank
have
you.
enmity, because I don't think so. It's
Yes,
worth my
yes.
time. Then Dhruv says Jane Jan location, which I don't know.
Ah,
He's trying to point out the Ooty from the
no,
School
no.
of Lies thing.
Yes, please no.
Then Sanket says thank you for the shout out. Thank you, Sanket,
Mm.
as well. Thank you for joining. Varun says GNG does Heartland Noir justice finally.
Yes, yes, yes. Guns and
Absolutely.
Gulabs.
I
Guns and
really like Guns
absolutely.
N' I think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
should, anyone should watch Guns N' Globs because I think
It's
it's
a
again
fun show. It's
fun,
genuinely a
universally
fun
appealing
show.
also, I would say. Very
Universally
universally
appealing, and it's
appealing.
a fun show. Rajkumar Rao ka performance is great.
Yeah.
Rajkumar Rao is
And
great in
and
that show.
Devaya also, yeah. Super good.
Devaya is fantastic. Rajkumar Rao is great.
Satish
Yeah.
Shah's final screen
Yes.
presence, whatever screen performance.
The way Satisha goes in that show, oh
Poetic,
boy,
no.
oh man, poetic. सच्ची में
Uh,
poetic है.
Varun also says, or a visit
Or a
for the
visit for
history of
the
the
history.
place, which is for Kala Pani, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
mentioning Andaman Nicobar.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
he also says also Ashutosh Gowarikar finally did something people want more
Oh
of.
yeah, how is he in this show?
It's pretty good. Like I think it's very like very to the screen performance. He's not doing anything great. It's just what he's
Hmm.
asked to do. He's doing that. But you won't have
Direct.
complaints, is what I'll say.
अच्छा.
In Varun also says Indian streamers
Indian.
have yet to understand the concept of the limited series.
I think what comes across is कि पहले ये लोग शो बनाते हैं एक सीजन का, ठीक है? एक
हाँ,
सीजन का
फिर
शो
उनको अकल
बनाते हैं,
आती है।
स्टोरी बन हाँ, स्टोरी बनाते-बनाते अचानक अकल आ जाती है कि सीजन 2 करेंगे तो पैसा मिलेगा।
हाँ, इट्स द होल
लेकिन
मनी
समझ
थिंग
में
अगेन ना।
या इट्स अ
Like
होल
again,
मनी
I
थिंग,
feel
या।
Kala Pani has a very natural way of progressing into
हुँ, हुँ।
when it goes to second season. Now we'll wait for the second season, and I
या,
think Family
आई
Man
एम ग्लैड
season
इट्स
two outdid season one.
या,
That is one
इट
great
डिड,
thing.
इट डिड।
So, and Sacred Games is a very debatable thing, which I know you guys.
I love season 2, I love
I
season 2, I
really
love।
see. So we both love it, and Dhruv doesn't.
हाँ,
So
ध्रुव को तो बहुत
fuck,
चीज़ें पसंद नहीं आती है,
we
वी आर
made a
नॉट गोइंग
very
देयर।
big blunder. Huh? We made it's Satish Kaushik, not
सतीश
Satish
कौशिक,
Shah.
या सतीश कौशिक। क्या ही और
Satish
ब्लंडर
Shah
होगा?
is alive and kicking. I'm sorry.
आद
I
आदमी
mean,
है।
if Dhruv listens to this, he's gonna be very sad because we're all big fans of Sarabhai versus Sarabhai as well.
हुँ, च
Sorry, Varun.
हम लोग आदमी है, क्या और कर सकते हैं? होता ही है। हुँ,
Yeah.
गलती हो सकता है।
Varun says any moment now, Amartya will burst into Amar Shonar
हम
Bangla.
नो, 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 आई एम नॉट। ट्रस्ट मी, आई एम नॉट। But the songs are very nice. Again, this is one of those commercial type shows. It's not a
हाँ,
commercial type show, but there are lots of songs.
mainstream.
Now, yeah, but also like
Hmm.
if you see Bengali streaming service ka shows in Hoichoi, most of the shows are
Hmm.
made for the people who watch soap opera. Okay, so
Okay.
people derisively call Hoichoi like TV plus because that's what they're going for. A
Okay.
majority of their audiences are housewives or female
Hmm.
audiences who watch soap opera shows.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
those shows have all music and everything and all of that stuff. But in Indubala Bhatir Hotel, the songs are
Yeah.
very nice because the songs are original. The songs are made making the times
And
they're in. I don't think those are
okay.
original per se. I think these are legitimate songs, like
Okay.
older
Okay.
songs.
Okay.
But those are very well done and those go with the
Hmm.
mood because it's a
Okay.
memory piece. It's a memory piece. The songs are like connecting the all the
Huh.
different memories. Trying.
Huh. So I'm just gonna put name drop a few shows that had also come out this year, which
Mm.
I thought were pretty decent and could be of someone's liking. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
one is
yeah, yeah.
Scoop, which we just spoke about, which I think is pretty
Mm-hmm.
decent
Pretty decent.
show. I just felt it could have been longer and it would have been better. I didn't want it to be uh,
Mm-hmm.
6 episodes. Honestly, I was surprised they ended so much. Again, one good thing was like how Scam 1992 had so much of a plot stuffed in 10
Mm-hmm.
episodes or 8 episodes. I really loved that show. I love that show. I thought Scoop also had the same thing, but again, wrap up बहुत जल्दी कर दिया. The
Mm-hmm.
hard problem, which I think is down to the writing for the show. Then
Mm-hmm.
Saas Bahu or Flamingo has an
Haven't
interesting idea.
seen.
It's a
Mm.
Hotstar show, so it's a very proper big commercial kind of show. It
Mm-hmm. Look
has
like it also. Look
it
like
has
it also.
Radhika Madan, Isha Talwar, Dimple
Dimple
Kapadia,
Kapadia. Yeah, yeah.
and um I forgot a lot of other star cast, but great star cast. It's directed by the guy
Homi
who made
Ajania.
Cocktail, Homi Adjania. Yes, Homi
Mm.
Adjania. So interesting voice, but it is not unique to Homi Adjania's voice. That is what I would say. His voice is much more is quirkier than what is in the show.
This.
Then Kala is again very stylized show, which is uh, I don't know how to define the plot or what is the pitch because it is about a disgraced soldier from the time when something happens on the border of India Bangladesh, and that kind of repeats in modern day by in the present day by his son. So
Hmm.
it is very muddled. There are many things that are happening. So thematically, it is about fathers and sons and all that, which is uh, yeah,
But it
whatever.
sounds like a mess.
Then another messy show, which I don't know if people like noirs, then Sheher Lakhot, which is
Haven't
by
seen. Haven't
Navdeep
seen.
Singh.
Yeah,
Priyanshu Pinoli
didn't
is in it.
wanted to start, but I didn't see. How is it? Did you
Priyanshu
finish it?
Pinoli. It is again very muddled noir. So again, Chinatown homages galore because it is set in the same world as the film that Navdeep directed in 2006 called
They
Manorama.
reference it. They reference
So
Panorama.
the Lakhot was a city in Manorama also.
Hmm.
So it's the same
Okay.
kind of thing. But
Hmm.
again, it is like how much patience you can really have to watch something like this. So it's not
Hmm.
great. It's bang on in the middle for me.
Hmm.
And bunch of disappointments which have been Charlie Chopra by Vishal
I will put,
Bhardwaj.
yeah, I will put one interesting show which I thought was interesting, was Tooth Pari, by Tooth Pari,
Bengali
which
show.
starred,
Tanya
yeah,
Maniktala.
Bengal, Tanya
Rakim
Maniktala.
Gupta.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting version of Kolkata being shown here.
Yeah.
Vampire mythology, very interesting version of modern day vampire mythology. Very
Yeah.
goofy, but quite
Yeah.
fun, very pulpy.
Uh,
More interesting stuff like this, please.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Rocket Boys season 2 could have
Yes.
been
Yes.
better.
Yes. I've heard
Could have
it's
been better.
little
It's a
underwhelming, but
little
hmm.
underwhelming. Could have been better. Again, performances are very good. Could have been better. Uh, Screw
So
that show. Charlie
Varun says,
Chopra.
screw that show. Charlie Chopra should definitely not have another season, which
Okay,
is
okay.
very sad because I
I have a
really
thing
like
about that.
Vamika Gabbi in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Charlie Chopra should have another season because Vamika Gabbi is phenomenal in it.
Yeah,
But
she's very good,
Vishal
but the
Bharadwaj,
writing really lets her down.
Vishal Bharadwaj completely focused only on the character. He did not focus on anything else. The
Plot
next time,
or the
yeah,
screenplay or yeah.
yeah, yeah. The
Continue.
next time, Bharadwaj should just focus on the plot and the screenplay and everything else because character fully developed है. कोई
Yeah.
और जरूरत नहीं है कुछ करने का. Just write next.
You were,
That's all
you were
you need
name
to do.
dropping another show before I interrupted.
Which one? Tooth Pari, I
Um,
said.
After
Yeah.
Toothpuri, you didn't say anything?
Rocket Boys, and also
Rocket Boy.
another thing, Rocket Boys, and also another show, which is one of those in the aspirants universe kind of a nonsense, that
Sandeep
show
Bhaiya,
which
and
give,
then they had that
yeah, SK Sarki classes and all that
SK
stuff.
Sargi class. So they're nicely building off of that
Indian National
universe now.
building a universe. I don't care about any of those. Sandeep Bhaiya, I will bring up just because of Sunny Hinduja's performance. That man is a
Yeah.
phenomenal actor who is being wasted in these
I have a
shows.
quick question though before we
Hmm.
also wrap up in very soon. Didn't pictures come out this year or was it last year?
Pictures came out last year.
I didn't watch that show. Is it going good?
Peaches season 1 is great. Peaches season 2 I did not
Season
expect
one
to
I've
be
seen,
good.
of
It's
course.
Peaches season 2 is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I did not expect it to be this good. It's phenomenal.
It's great. Okay, then I'll
It's
need to.
great. It's great. It's completely different from the first season.
Yeah,
Complete
yeah,
different tone.
yeah,
Complete different tone. It's great. Love
yeah.
that show.
Okay,
Uh
I'm just gonna read quick comments before we really need to wrap up because we are over time now.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
QID's Vamika Gabbi fan club Dhruv says,
Y- Yes,
uh,
yes, yes.
and Varun says, and not work with Anjum Rajabali. Please don't work with Anjum Rajabali. Anjum Rajabali sadly should just stick to teaching at this point because we saw that film Tufan with Farhan Akhtar as well. Uh,
Oh,
Varun says Dhruv also really likes Vamika.
I don't think
Uh, yes,
anybody is there who doesn't like Vamika. I don't really think that anybody
QID
is
is
there.
really a Vamika Gabbi fan club at this point.
She's a
God's
great
Lonely
actress.
Man says, between you both, who is the admin of Terminal Cinema? Dhruv
I am not.
is the admin of Terminal Cinema. He's not in the episode today because he hasn't watched a lot of shows, Indian shows at least. So he didn't arrive.
We haven't either.
Dhruv
We have
says, we have switched allegiances from HVK to Vamika, a sizable upgrade. HVK
very
is
much so.
Harshvardhan Kapoor,
Very
who
much so.
was a big patron of our show in the earlier days, but I don't know, we haven't referenced him at this point. So Vamika is
If he makes some more interesting choices, maybe we might. We don't know.
hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
Dhruv says, hello at God's Lonely Man. God's Lonely Man, you can connect with Dhruv
Yes.
here.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Varun says Dhruv Goyal ji
Dhruv
is the
Goyal
admin
ji.
of Terminal Cinema.
Uh,
Anything else that is left? Varun Bhake says Homi Ajania directing, which is
yeah,
for
yeah,
Saas
yeah.
Bahu or um,
Flamingo.
Flamingo. Um, quickly. Uh, I was about to ask. Dhruv says.
What was he about to ask?
I think it's for. I completely forgot अपना क्या context था. But then he says, Dhruv says,
But
but
then
then you guys mentioned you loved
you
Sacred
love.
Game season
Ah, acha,
2,
acha.
so I'll stay quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Please do.
There was, Varun says, Sacred Game season 2 fucked up a perfectly good novel. I really
Listen.
don't care about the novel. I really enjoyed season 2.
Listen. I've read the novel. I love the novel. I love the show too. I don't really care. It's completely fine.
Dhruv says, I would have said, well, do a
Do
season 2 debate, but that means I'd have to rewatch it. I mean, that is a big task.
Mhm.
So
I still don't get people who are saying कि oh my god I can't wait to rewatch this show. I'm like इतना time कहाँ है भाई तुम लोगों के पास,
Okay,
प्लीज
quickly
बता दो
wrapping up.
मुझे भी चाहिए.
There was also a very sad, disappointing season of Made in Heaven season 2,
Oh
which
yes,
we don't want to
we are not
discuss
going to
anymore
talk about it.
because
We are not going to talk
uh,
about it. We are not.
quickly
Yeah.
ending the show. Abhinav Bindra biopic incoming, which is the Harshvardhan Kapoor film, which has been in pipeline for years now.
Yes.
God's Lonely
Incoming
Man
है.
says,
I
I
came
came
because of
because
you.
of him only. So
अच्छा.
Dhruv, God's Lonely Man, Dhruv is going to be in the next episode, hopefully. On we
Hopefully.
discuss next Monday, most probably Donkey with the usual crew,
Hmm.
live at 10 o'clock. So we'll all
Hmm.
go watch Donkey over the weekend and watch.
No
And
salad. No salad.
it's debatable at this point, but we are doing Donkey for sure. Uh, a new episode drops this Thursday. So people who are listening, a new episode drops this Thursday. Please listen to that episode. That episode incoming. We also put out episode reviewing Animal, Sam Bahadur, and 12th Fail. The
Hmm.
three men of Hindi cinema at
The
this
three
point.
men
All
of Bollywood. Yes.
interesting films to discuss about at least. And please, I'm just gonna wrap with the last comment now quickly. God's Lonely Man. For me, SG2
Yes.
season 2 was
Yes.
more layered than I don't think so it was more
Yes.
layered, but it was bloody interesting and very
I
fun.
agree. I agree.
So Dhruv, sorry, Amartya agrees. So I'm
Yes.
wrapping up the show now. We discussed a bunch of films.
Bunch of
I'm gonna
stuff.
put in all the films we discussed in the list in the comments below. Please make sure you check them out. They're all recommended shows, interesting
Hmm.
shows, and I think we kind of cut the clutter into watching what we really liked because the
Hmm.
kind of shows that are coming out day by day, it's just too much to catch up to. We
Yes.
really need to find and refine our choices. So I think the
No,
only
no,
shows that
no,
will
no.
stand out will be the really, really good ones, and the mediocre
At
ones
this
will
point,
kind of die down now.
at this point, refinement is impossible. At this point, even मैं censorship भी welcome कर लूंगा भाई अगर ये सब show बंद हो जाए. At this point, I'm in that stage at that point.
Yeah,
मैं censorship भी ले लूंगा. चलो,
but
कोई नहीं.
yeah,
Censorship will at least force them to be subtle about it. You know, at least.
I mean,
अभी
whatever
ये
floats
मैक्स
their boat at this
अभी ये
point,
मै
honestly.
ये
I really don't know much about
अभी ये
it.
मैक्स ये अभी ये मैक्सिमम सिटी का 1000 पेज का स्क्रिप्ट लेकर अनुराग कश्यप घूम रहा है, इसके पीछे अब लोगों का पड़ा हुआ है. आई एम लाइक चिल द फक आउट प्लीज.
बन जाएगा. I feel बनने को बन
बन
जाएगा at some
जाएगा.
point.
हाँ.
But so many shows that had come out this year, and we didn't watch a lot of shows. A lot of Sony Live shows that didn't watch. I wanted to throw a little bit of slander on Scam 2003 because I really got irritated by the show. But since we don't have that much time, I'm going to wrap this up by saying thank you so much for listening to this episode. I
Hmm.
really appreciate you all being part of the chat, Dhruv and Varun, who are part of the
Hmm.
podcast anyway.
Yes,
But
yes.
people who've listened to this, thank you for supporting the last episode, Archies, which has reached out to so many people. Please make
Yes.
sure you like this stream so that it reaches out to more people. You follow us or subscribe us on on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Spotify so that it reaches out to more people. Lots more episodes coming. A new episode every Monday or slash Tuesday, and a new editorial episode on Spotify every Thursday. Make sure you follow
Hmm.
us. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow Amartya on his Instagram page at Amartya25. You can follow me at pixel underscore Baba. Follow us on Instagram at Queen is Dead film podcast. We'll meet next week again. Thank you again. Khatam. I'm finishing this now by Varun's comment. Sanjeet,
खत्म.
yes,
Yes.
Khatam.